They beat the Orioles 10-3, and they get their first grand slam of the year. It was out of Gary Sanchez. It was early in the game. They do gain a game in the playoff race. They are now 5.5 games out, 42 left in the season. Here we go. NL West yesterday, Rockies fall to the Diamondbacks 8-5. Giants beat the Rays 7-0. Dodgers take down the Brewers 6-2. In the NFL, jobs have been won as the Carolina Panthers named Bryce Young their week 1 starter, and the Indianapolis Colts named Anthony Richardson their starter. He says he was shocked. Really? Tomorrow night starts week 2 of the NFL preseason as the Cleveland Browns take on the Philadelphia Eagles, and Staples has great prices on everything you need for back to school. Right now, 2 pocket poly folders and an 8-pack of Staples number 2 pencils, just 50 cents each. Offer ends 8/26. Pricing and limits may vary in store and online. School on, save on at Staples.
Yeah! Woo! Happy hump day to those who celebrate.
Mike.
It's Big Rich, TD, and Fletch with you this morning and every morning here on San Diego Sports 760. Also on YouTube. You can find us on YouTube. We live stream every single day. We live stream on Twitter as well. Big Rich, TD, and Fletch on both of those avenues. Also TikTok and Instagram, Big Rich, TD, Fletch. So good morning, guys. Very different feeling this morning.
Yeah.
If you are living and dying on everything Padres, I think we refuse to here. I think the three of us cumulatively have said, like, hey, look, we're Padres fans, but if you're going to spend every single day allowing yourself to ride the emotional roller coaster, you're going to be miserable because this team builds you up the way they did last night. And then the follow-up is usually a letdown, but encouraging. We got our first grand slam of the year. Michael Wacha back from a shoulder injury. Things are looking up, Padres.
Man, it's everything's turning up, Padres. And look, I mean, I think this is the turnaround that we've been asking for all season long.
You're right. This is when it starts.
It's it right now. There's plenty of time left. There's the doors cracked open, and they made up games where they needed to make up games last night.
So there you have it. The Padres are now in the captain's seat. It is the NL goes through San Diego.
By the way, missing you over here as you are broadcasting live from a studio out in LA. But over at Kogo, they are not appreciating my puns at all.
Why?
I don't know. I was given the update over on Kogo.
They're not good puns.
They're pretty good though. I said, just feel this one out.
Okay, yeah. Hit me with it.
Matt Carpenter came out of the woodwork last night.
Yeah, there you go.
I mean, it's pretty good, right?
Honestly, in terms of being punny, you nailed it.
How about these? Okay.
Yeah. Let me hear in a couple.
Around the league.
Yeah.
The Astros hook the Marlins.
Okay.
The Braves doodle dandied. I'm dyslexic. The Yankees. The Giants X the Rays. The Dodgers microed the Brewers.
Microbrewery.
They didn't like any of them.
They also don't listen.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
If you're gonna try puns on somebody, you really got to be paying attention. Like me, for example, who was fiddling with my camera the entire time you're reading those. They were great. But
that.
I think they were lost on Ted and LaDonna over at Kogo News.
Yeah, they just stared at me.
Now, is the X one in reference to the fact that Twitter or X's headquarters in San Francisco?
I was going X-rays.
X-rays.
Yeah, maybe that was too far of a stretch.
No, that's okay. No, that's fine. We're not big thinkers over here. I don't know if you knew that. But yeah, I mentioned Michael Wacha back from the shoulder injury. So this rotation desperately needed a boost because we've been talking about the rotation not being the problem for the majority of the season, even though in the preseason there were many criticisms levied at the fact that this starting pitching staff, after a certain point, kind of fell off a ledge. Well, they were right, but it was only because of injury this season. Musgrove out, Waka comes back, and he goes 5 scoreless innings. He throws about 75, 77, something in that range pitches. And it was only 3 hits he gave up. And this was one of those dynamite outings for the Padres hitters too. So everything was clicking in the right direction, but it's really good to get that start from Michael Wacha because you're going to need him down the stretch.
Yeah, because Joe Musgrove's out, and we don't have an exact return date for Joe Musgrove, and that is a gaping hole. And if you have someone like Michael Wacha who can fill it, the reason we weren't sure about the starting rotation in the preseason was because we had no idea who Michael Wacha or Seth Lugo would be this year. We've known their careers, but what do they have left in the tank? How many innings can they actually give you? And we know Seth Lugo is on some sort of pitch count for the season. His time may be up soon. And then Michael Wacha, maybe that was a fortunate time for him to go down with a little injury because now he can come back and hopefully be a guy like he was last night the rest of the season. And again, they're not out of it. Do I have any sort of faith that today won't be a 0 on the scoreboard for the Padres? No, because that's what they've shown us. The last time they went out and scored 10 runs, the very next day it was nothing.
Look, I think we can all agree as long as Musgrove's back for the playoffs, I think we're good.
Yeah.
Is that now that the Padres have turned it around?
I think we can all agree. Like pretty much smooth sailing from here on out for the Pods, and there's really. I mean, I don't even know why we're talking. Yesterday, we didn't talk about the Padres because we were so demoralized by what we've seen over a 4-game losing streak, especially after the players only meeting, when they were on the road in Seattle. Like we thought they would turn it around and they didn't, but we were just 4 games too early on our criticism. Like,
Right.
They did it yesterday. So nothing left to worry about.
Serious question. Over under on runs scored tonight for the Padres.
Oh, I'm setting it at 2. Are you taking the over? Or
Under.
Oh, you're setting it at 2.
Under.
The line's at 2.
Under.
Yeah, I mean, it does feel like a 1-run game.
Under. It might be 0. If you'd have set the line at 1.5, I would have said 0 or under.
Wow. Yeah. Boy, it actually here's how you know what kind of season it's been. When I set the line at 2, when I set the the number at 2, and it's either automatic under or it's difficult to say the word over.
There's
Like,
really
think
no
about
in
that.
between.
In order to win that bet, I just need to see 3 runs from the Padres offense, and I can't say the word over, so
Well,
I am going to say the word under.
The 2023 Padres did lose their Grand Slam virginity last night, which was kind of fun to watch, and that was 4 runs and 1 hit, and it came off the bat of who?
Larry Fanpez.
Scorpio.
Yeah, code name Scorpio.
Mary Slam Ches.
Wow. On the show.
Come on. Look, Scorpio knew he had to take control. They were only up by 1. There was only 8.3333333 innings left to play.
1-run leads aren't safe.
No. So Scorpio said, you know what? Since everyone's on base, I'm just gonna go ahead and clean this up. And he did.
Yeah, he did. He really did. I'm sorry, I'm getting emotional.
I mean, should we make MFVP shirts?
God, yes.
Wait, give me that one.
MFVP. It's kind of a play on.
No, I got you, but I'm still confused on what all the letters stand for. I get the first 2.
And maybe whisper it. I think if you whisper it, the FCC can't hear it.
Like M effing valuable player.
So MF MVP.
Well, yeah, but that's not as cool. You know, just like to tuck the F in.
Actually, yeah, MFP is kind of cool. Like, mother effing player.
That's kind of cool. Come on.
I mean, that was cool. And it was a boost that I think anybody who was watching last night needed, because a lot of these games, man, they're drudgeries. And Gary has had a resurgence this year. And it's weird to say, like, Ha-Seong Kim, he's been hot this season, and I don't think that you expected to see him be one of the most dependable Padres hitters or defenders this year, but okay, like, I think because he's been around for a while, we're kind of, he's a fan favorite. We're kind of used to seeing him making plays. But Gary Sanchez, for somebody to come in, put on a Padres uniform and immediately have success, that's something you don't often see.
Now, this goes back to what the comment on our YouTube was yesterday, which I think it was from Kevin. He was talking about the guys who have played well on this Padres team this year are all guys who have contracts coming up next year. Gary Sanchez is fighting for his life in this league. Like, he had his time with the Yankees where for a couple of years he was really good, but he was a defensive liability, and then he stopped hitting. And so they were like, well, why is this guy even here? And they let him go for nothing, which is how the Padres ended up eventually getting him after a couple other stops. But Gary Sanchez is fighting for his life in Major League Baseball, and he's doing a damn good job of it.
Well,
Ha-Seong Kim is on a contract year. Juan Soto is still playing for his next contract. Blake Snell is going to be a free agent this offseason. Like, those are the Padres who've been performing so well, and the dudes who are locked up, which I can never personally understand the mental space that's like to have that much money in the bank and still be expected to go out and do a good job. They just haven't performed.
Well, it'd sure be nice if that would rub off on the entire team and they would play like they're fighting for their life for the season.
Right.
Every single day.
And you would think that would be enough motivation.
Yeah. And because we're happy about it. Obviously, we're excited on a win. And we are joking about it slightly because it does feel like it's a little too late. And we are so accustomed to the team falling apart after these big wins that we sit here with bated breath tonight and go, well, let's see what happens. Because if they do win tonight, and then all of a sudden they are rolling into a series against the Diamondbacks, and gosh, I'd love to say take 4 from the Diamondbacks, but that would mean they'd have to win 6 games in a row, which is twice the amount they've been able to do all season. So, I don't know, take 3 out of 4. Now they're 2 games behind, or 2 games out of 500. They would obviously make up some games in the wild card race. There's a lot that can shift here, but if this homestand does not go well, the season's done.
Yeah, this really is the death knell if the Padres don't have a winning record at very least, leaving this homestand. And Blake Snell on the mound tomorrow, or I should say tonight. What we saw from Michael Wacha yesterday, there are some encouraging vibes. Now, we've said that before, and they've let us down many times. That's the reason why, like you said, we're joking around with this one. But we can't help ourselves because, again, if you don't laugh, you'll cry if you're following this Padres season. You're going to be pretty excited coming up later in the show today. We got Duran tickets, North Island Credit Union Amphitheater, August 22nd show. We're going to be giving those away. Also, you can see Pantera at North Island. That's going to be on August 26th. Compliments of us. We got a pair of tickets for that show as well. Also, a pair of tickets to see Darius Rucker at Gallagher Square, August 25th. More information for all of those tickets at Ticketmaster.com. We're giving all 3 pairs away today, one of which is going to be in a brand new edition of What's in the Box with me in a studio in Los Angeles and you and Ben, Travis, down in San Diego. Ben and I were discussing this before the show. I think what we'll do is I'll represent the listener. You guys will put something in the bucket or in the box, and I will do my best to ask questions to figure out what exactly is in the bucket. And then say after 10 questions, I have to try to guess on behalf of our listener.
It's a good thing.
What's in the box.
It's a good thing you brought this up because I forgot that was happening until this moment.
well, you know what? The good thing is we also still have the Home Depot bucket from last week, and there are staplers and other assorted desk items around the studio that we can throw in the
You just
box.
took the one that I was going to put in the box.
Oh my God!
You're going to put a stapler in the box?
I was thinking about it. I was looking
read
at
your
what
mind.
I have available to me.
Wow.
You better get your ass together.
There's so many things here. There's disinfectant wipes, coasters.
Stop giving away things.
There's a camera that's like 10,000 degrees for some reason.
That is hot.
Yeah.
Can I tell you guys before we move on to the NFL stuff, like the most depressing stat about the Padres?
Yeah, go for it.
So last night they win by 7 runs.
Yeah, let's do that.
This
That
is
sounds like fun.
by far, if there's the most nauseating thing that we've had all season long, it's this. They have the second best run differential of all teams fighting for the wild card.
Yep.
Including the 3 teams who have secured wild card spots, the Phillies, the Giants, and the Marlins. Marlins actually have a negative 37 run differential. The Padres have a plus 61 run differential. That number is correct. Plus 61.
That's
well, it's because of this.
Great.
Listen,
yeah, you're right.
I don't want to like launch and get upset, but so I'm going to try to control this outburst. But my immediate feeling is almost anger and frustration with this team, because this is this same team that can score 10 runs on the red hot Orioles, right? And can have this offensive explosion and look like the team that they were supposed to be the entire season, is the same team that can go out there, roll their bats onto the baseball diamond and pretend like they're trying, and then literally have one of their star players get to the post-game press conference and say, yeah, we give up. We give up.
Yeah.
Like that's the same team. It's happening at the same time. Like sometimes these guys are great and they exemplify all of the things that the analytics nerds would tell you in the preseason that they were going to be. And sometimes they suck out loud so bad that the only reason why they possibly could stink that much is because they are giving up, like Juan Soto admitted when he was in Seattle, and then tried to walk back the comments. That's the problem, is their heads aren't in it the whole time. Their hearts aren't in it the whole time. And it's really frustrating.
Well, and it's frustrating the fact that, once again, here's this lineup of absolute superstars. They should absolutely dominate. Trade deadline comes. They said, we're going for it. We're going all in. Backs are up against the wall. They have to win if they want to make the postseason, because it is slipping away quick. And going into last night's game, they had lost 7 of their last 8. I mean, it's crazy. On the flip side, the Dodgers over the past 10 games, they're 9-1. 9-1.
I hate the Dodgers.
I hate them.
Woof.
I just saw this and it's really funny. You guys know how bad the Oakland A's are?
How bad are they?
They're so bad.
Are we supposed to say it together?
The Oakland A's are 33-87 on the year with a negative 290 run differential.
I like that a lot.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Huh.
Oh, my gosh.
Dude, that owner is such a D.
Yeah,
he's the worst.
He's a donkey.
Actually, okay. Is he the worst, or is Michael Orr the worst? Okay, so listen to this story now. Now we have some juicy storylines that we need to update everybody with. So yesterday, this show and many shows across the country detailed Michael Orr's allegations against the Toohey family. And for anybody who doesn't know what this story is about, Michael Orr is the focus of the movie The Blind Side, with Tim McGraw and Sandra Bullock talking about how a family adopted a young man in high school who became a standout football player, went out to Ole Miss, became a consensus All-American first-round draft pick with the Baltimore Ravens.
Which that was a big part of the story, that he went to Ole Miss, because I think included in all this were some sort of allegations from a few years ago that maybe they pressured him to go to Ole Miss.
Okay. So now Michael Orr, his story, because he's filing a petition in the state of Tennessee, I believe, where he's basically saying that the Toohey family lied to him, that they never adopted him, that he signed a conservatorship, and that they have profited greatly off of his success, or I should say off of his success, but the success of his story. So Michael Lewis wrote the book The Blind Side, and the Toohey family sold the rights of The Blind Side to studios and made hundreds of millions of dollars and blah, 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 blah. Well, that's Michael's side of the story. Now the Toohey family are accusing Michael Orr of an attempted shakedown. So listen to this. So the Toohey family claims to still love Michael Orr like a son, and they'd hate to believe what I should say we all hate to believe what their lawyer's saying, but apparently what the lawyer is claiming is that Michael Orr came to the Toohey family and tried to get $15 million out of them.
Ooh.
And then on top of that, after they refused, he then started all of this issue about trying to, take them to court to try to get some money out of this situation. And Sean Toohey, the father in the family, said that look, we love Michael like a son. We would never do anything to harm him or his reputation or gain off of him financially or any of our children. Basically, these allegations are completely false. The hundreds of millions of dollars this family has made was when I sold off my fast food franchises. Michael is just making these outlandish claims, and we feel very bad about this situation. So, who do you guys believe in all of this? Whose side are you taking?
There's no sides.
I think there's no sides.
I don't think so. Like I think both people are probably a little wrong here, because if the conservatorship thing is real, and even if they did it with good intentions at the time, they did make money off of the blind side, and it sounds like he did it.
Yeah, and I mean, well, and that would be Michael's side at that point.
Right. And in Michael's side, I think it's fair for him to ask whether it's through legality or through the family that he gets his cut of whatever profits they did make. Now, we don't know how many they made, but that movie made $300 million. The book made a lot of money too. And she's made a lot of money afterward. The person that Sandra Bullock played, Leanne, is that her name? She's made a lot of money too afterwards with motivational speaking with her books that she's written. So I do think that there is money that Michael Orr probably should have made, because without him, that's not there.
Yeah, and I mean, he may have gone to them and said, "Hey, look, my estimation is I should have been paid about $15 million. So
and
if
we're
you
back to the stuffed pizza,
and
Hey, dude, yeah.
Michael Orr is the stuffed pizza.
$1 billion.
Anthony Mangiello.
By the way, my mother's favorite guest we've ever had.
He was incredible.
That was the favorite. Really?
Anthony Mangiello, the CEO of Formaggio Cheese, came on yesterday. He claims to be the original inventor of the stuffed crust pizza. And boy, does he make a good case. But that's kind of the thing, though. Like, if you listen to both of these sides, there's a good case on both sides. Like Michael Orr saying, all right, they lied to me. I didn't know I wasn't adopted, and I signed a conservatorship instead. The Tui family is saying, and by the way, they put out a blistering statement. Like, if you read the actual statement from the lawyer, from the Tui family's lawyer, he says the claims that Orr made were outlandish, hurtful, and absurd. It goes on to say that the claim that Michael tried, or the family tried to profit from Michael, was offensive and ridiculous, and the allegations defy belief. He also claims that Michael Orr threatened to plant a negative story about them in the press unless they paid him $50 million. So literally trying to blackmail the family. Also added in the statement that Michael has actually attempted to run this place several times before, a shakedown for money. But it seems that the numerous other lawyers have stopped representing him once they saw the evidence and they learned the truth. What's interesting about all this is the conservatorship part. So the Tui family, they said that they had to put a conservatorship agreement in place before he went to Ole Miss for some reason. We're not sure why.
Huh.
Like that's the one part of the story that doesn't hold up, because I'm, at least not to my knowledge, like Michael did not need to have a family in order to go to Ole Miss and play football.
Yeah.
So, and that's basically what the Tui family said.
Well, the other thing that's quite odd is that he's still in the conservatorship.
Yeah.
Like, why?
That's a little Britney Spearsy.
Yeah. But I mean, I guess and you know what? I'm not looking at any social media from Michael Orr, so I don't know. But if I'm watching the social media outtakes and the antics from Britney Spears, I question if she's okay on her own. So I could see a conservatorship being something that may be necessary. Yeah. But Michael Orr, I don't get it.
Well, I will say this: if you go to his Twitter and his Instagram, he does a lot of dancing, scantily clad. So
with starfish over his nipples.
Yeah, like he's putting a lot of pasties on. Okay, remember, we got 3 pairs of tickets to give away today on the show. Duran Duran, Pantera, also Darius Rucker. Be listening for those. But coming up next, an NFL superstar should take the money and run. Literally, that's next.
This update is presented by Staples Stores. Padres, they look like a brand new team last night. Gary Sanchez hits a grand slam. They win 10-3 over the Orioles. It was the first grand slam of the year, and they gain a game in the playoff race. They are now 5.5 games out, 42 games left to go in the season. NL West yesterday, Rockies fall to the D-backs 8-5. Giants beat the Rays 7-0. Dodgers beat the Brewers 6-2. Or Dodgers micro the Brewers, whatever Travis said. In the NFL, jobs have been won. Carolina Panthers named Bryce Young their week 1 starter at QB. Indianapolis Colts, they named Anthony Richardson their starter. Tomorrow night starts week 2 of the NFL preseason. Cleveland Browns taking on the Philadelphia Eagles. Staples has great prices on everything you need for back to school. Right now, 2-pocket poly folders and an 8-pack of Staples No. 2 pencils, just 50 cents each. Offer ends 8/26. Pricing and limits may vary in-store and online. School on, save on at Staples.
Big Rashidi and Fletch, San Diego Sports 760. Did you just say there was 2-pack of folders?
2-pocket poly folders.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, listen. I mean, Tupac Shaker, man.
Yeah.
I big fan of his West Coast jams.
We actually just did all of Kendall's school shopping at Staples and got the 2-pocket poly folders.
Honestly thought you were going to say we actually just did all of Kendall's classroom in Tupac.
Oh, while listening to Tupac, that wouldn't be bad.
No,
Kendall
just
just got
Tupac
a Thug
decor.
Life tattoo ahead of the school year.
That would be the coolest classroom ever.
I did have to put together one of those some assembly required like roller table things with a bunch of drawers.
Wow.
Imagine like
It sucks.
all of the like the things that were required to bring in to school. It was like, okay, poly 2-pocket folders, that makes sense. Okay, what we got here? Oh, composition notebook, good. Elmer's glue, all right. Do-rag. I don't know. Oh, they're doing Tupac Day on the first day of school. Understood. Kendall's a hip teacher, man.
That would be honestly my favorite day at school.
No doubt.
Yeah.
100%. I'm very curious what's going to happen. Switching gears to the NFL, we talked a lot of Padres a moment ago. Very curious what's going to happen with the Raiders and Josh Jacobs. I compare this to how I used to play poker. Yeah. I used to be a poker player that, like, whenever I got a pair in my hand, especially a high pair, basically anything with a face on it or aces, I was like, oh my God, I'm rich. I am going to bully this pot. Nobody's going to win this hand. So especially if I had like pocket aces, I'd be like, yeah, it's game time.
Yeah.
And then there would be like straight draws, if you're playing Hold'em, or flush draws, or, there would be, potential for a 3 of a kind on the board of a different sort, and I just didn't care. I was like, with these aces, I'm going places. There's a such thing as overplaying your hand and not understanding the environment. So all of a sudden, Zeke Elliott, veteran rusher, goes from the Dallas Cowboys to free agency because he gets cut.
Once upon a time, got a $90 million deal.
Big payday. And those times have changed because he just signed a $6 million deal with the Patriots with incentives tied to it.
Yeah, there's a very good chance that Zeke walks away from this season with $3 million.
Dalvin Cook. I mean, Dalvin Cook had 1,500 yards plus 3 seasons in a row, and he just walked away with an $8 million contract from the New York Jets.
And has to do quite a bit of work to get that full $8 million.
Exactly. More incentives tied to that as well. Thank you. Yeah, it is not $8 million clean. There is no guarantees here. Josh Jacobs has $10.1 million waiting for him if he just signs the tender. So my question to you guys is, should he just shut up and sign the tender?
Probably.
Yeah.
It's a rough world to be an NFL running back right now. And I personally don't think Josh Jacobs is nearly on the level of Dalvin Cook. He and Zeke he's probably a little better than Zeke at this point just because of Zeke's age. But like if you're looking around the league and you're looking at some of the money that's being doled out to running backs, 10.1 feels like a lot right now.
Yeah, I mean, this feels like a no-brainer to me. Shut up and take the money. You would be making far more than the top guys out there who are currently signing deals.
And I think the gripe with running backs is they look around and they see who was the tight end. Was it Evan Ingram that just signed a pretty substantial contract? Like there's other positions that the running backs feel like I touch the ball so much more. I am responsible for getting so much more in the football game, but I'm getting paid this much less. It doesn't really make sense. But the market is just so saturated because you have a guy like Dearness Johnson who can get picked up by the Jags and immediately fill in as a backup role and really go 1A, 1B with the starter. So it's just such a saturated market for running backs that it's tough to even compare it to a tight end or a defensive back or players that are now getting a lot more money.
Yeah, the thing is, like, you can name a lot of guys who are like, for example, a Josh Jacobs. Now, I'm not saying it's a ton, but I mean, Dalvin Cook and Derrick Henry and Saquon Barkley and Alvin Kamara and Christian McCaffrey and Austin Eckler. Like, you start going down the list and you start realizing, like, oh yeah, like, yeah, there are a lot of like really good running backs. And the ones who tend to come up in the draft, like even in the third and the fourth round, like they're pretty good too. And it just sort of seems like a very replenishable resource. Whereas, for example, like a Travis Kelce, a George Kittle, like in order to have like one of the best tight ends in the game, there's two of them.
Yeah, you just named them both. Like,
yeah, that's it. That's basically it. The story kind of ends there. Darren Waller for a year looked like he could be included in that list, but he kind of flamed out with injuries and stuff. Quarterbacks, I mean, there's a handful or two who are exceptional, but they also play forever. Like running backs, they're replaceable and they are a fragile commodity. So I'm with you, Travis. Like, that was the quickest yes I think you've ever given in your life.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, because it seems incredible that you try to hang on to this because, whew, man, the sand is running out of the hourglass.
He didn't make one pun either when he said that yes. I think the Atlanta Falcons are the perfect example for what we're talking about because last year they had Tyler Algier, who had an incredible rookie season. I think it was something like 1,300 yards, a handful of touchdowns. Like, you would think, oh, that running back, they're set for the next couple years with that rookie running back. Well, no, they go to the draft and get Bijan Robinson with a high pick. It's like, it's such a replenishable resource that NFL teams are just realizing we could have multiple good running backs for $5 million each.
I'll ask you guys this question. So imagine a different scenario altogether. Imagine if all of a sudden, all at once, Josh Jacobs decides, you know what, that's it. I'm done with the Raiders. I'm going to storm into their office and I'm going to do something so horrifying and atrocious that they're going to cut me. Now, it's not going to affect what other teams think about me, but I'm going to make sure that I get cut by the Raiders, whatever means necessary. So he gets cut. On the open market, does he find a team that's willing to pay him $10.1 million guaranteed this season?
No.
Nope.
In fact, it would probably be equivalent to or less than the Dalvin Cook contract.
Yeah, I was going to say, Dalvin Cook just set the line.
Yep.
So, I mean, I don't know if Josh Jacobs is a Dalvin Cook. So, 8.6 million. That mean not guaranteed 8.6 mil. You got incentives there that you have to get to that number. I mean, honestly, Josh Jacobs, if he does that, if he walks away, he's probably looking at $6-7 million.
Yeah. Yeah, this from the NBC Sports article on this. There have been no meaningful talks recently. More than 4 weeks ago, the window closed on a long-term deal, despite the team leaking to the media that there's an idea they would consider including an enhancement on his one-year package. Nothing has happened. So the question remains now: will Jacobs show up for training camp or preseason or not? Here's my thought process. Again, going back to that thing I was talking about in poker where you can very easily overplay your hand. Maybe part of the equation here is Josh Jacobs doesn't want to participate in the preseason at all. And I don't blame him because running backs take a lot of lumps, whether it's at practice or during games. Like maybe he wants zero wear and tear on his body during the preseason. So maybe there's a thought process in his mind like, I'm not coming back until this date. And hopefully in the interim, the Raiders get desperate and they give me a contract. But again, like even if he doesn't want the wear and tear on his body, there's a chance that he still overplays his hand. I mean, it's very possible.
Yeah.
It's a tricky situation.
I don't know if you guys watched the Eagles' first preseason game, but they had Rashad Penny out there for like 13 snaps, and he was the leading rusher. And the entire time I was like, no, keep him out of there. No, don't get him hurt in the preseason. Because it's scary, dude.
No, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
it's scary when you're a veteran and you're playing in the preseason and you know it doesn't mean anything. And you kind of freak out like when all of a sudden the pile catches up to you and people fall on your legs. You're just like, oh, please, just not on my ankle, not on my ankle. No whammy, no whammy, no whammy. Okay, I made it through. All right.
How
Like
many preseason games did you play in?
oh, I mean, most of them in my career.
Right. How nerve-wracking were they just getting ready for those games, knowing that they could end your season?
Early in my career, I was feeling like I needed to play super hard and earn my spot. So I wasn't thinking about any of that stuff. Later on, like with the Cardinals, when I was playing with the Chargers here in San Diego, there was that feeling of like any play can not only finish me off for the season, but like it could essentially end my career because once you get to like year 4, year 5, year 6, like they'll find someone to replace you with. Like especially if it's a major injury. So I definitely understand Josh Jacobs from that standpoint, but I think there should be some talks. I think he should open the door for communication with the team because again, in the open market, he isn't getting $10.1 million guaranteed. He's not getting anything close to that amount. All right. We got those Duran Duran Pantera tickets and Darius Rucker tickets coming up later in the show, but we have a major he said, she said. We'll get to that on the other side.
Jamar Chase is playing a little he said, she said in court. We'll explain coming up next.
So, have either of you ever had a one-night stand that just didn't go well?
Not me.
Her name's Kendall Fletcher. I married her.
Okay, so your one-night stand resulted in marriage, and Travis, you've never had one.
No.
Okay.
Well, yeah, no.
His resulted in 3 kids
Yeah, I was
before he
gonna
was
say,
24.
Yeah, there's that.
Well,
That's what I was
okay.
gonna
Well,
go there.
both of those are positive outcomes because I met your children, or I should say most of them, Travis. They came out all right.
Yeah, they're way better
Sarah's
than
a
me.
wonderful
I got
lady.
questions about Caleb.
Yeah,
My kid's
well,
got beef with me for whatever reason.
I mean that beef, I think it's warranted.
He
to be
is
perfectly
really
honest.
upset about your performance at the Hardwood and Balls Classic.
So am I. He
What?
doesn't have to keep piling on.
I told him that.
Jeez.
I told him that.
Yeah, well,
you know
he's not
what's-
listening.
What's great is when he was talking smack at the concert about it, and I told him, I'm like, "Hey, man, just lay off. He's good. He knows he lost." And he's like, "Mom told me to say it." I'm like, "Wait, what?"
Damn it! Now I got beef with Sarah, and I liked her so much.
Yeah. Well, them days is over. I think the next Hardwood and Balls Classic should be you against Sarah Dale. No, listen, I definitely had a couple one-nighters that did not go particularly
Really?
well, and
Pixar doesn't count.
well, let's just put it this way: most of them were my fault. But let's just say that not everybody got their fortune cookies at the end of the Chinese food dinner. I'm just saying, look, they're not all winners. Not every performance is stunning, death-defying act. The problem is nobody ever expected much from me, so I think maybe like the aftershock of whatever occurred didn't reverberate quite as much as it is right now for Jamar Chase. Anybody who hasn't seen this story, you can look it up. Jamar is being, through his lens, harassed by a lady who he had met one fateful evening. And apparently, since their meeting, she's now accusing him of being the father of her baby, of doing all sorts of underhanded things, is using her followers to sort of like weaponizing her followers to attack him on social media, trying to ruin his personal brand and his corporate sponsorships because she feels like she's been slighted in a great way. Jamar also explains that he thinks the baby she's using in the social media post trying to prove that he impregnated her isn't even her kid, that she's borrowing a baby. so there's that. I I don't even know what to say about this story other than, if it's true, I mean, this is the dangers of being, especially these days, not only just a professional football player, but guys, with some of these name, image, and likeness stories that you're hearing out of high school and college, especially in college. I mean, you got to worry about things like this if what he's saying is 100% true.
Yeah, I would just never have sex. Like, not that would be all that
like normal.
Yeah, like normal.
Yeah,
But I'm not like, if I was like, especially Jamar Chase age, unless it's marriage or there is a long-standing commitment there with that woman, like, you have no idea what kind of stuff can be pulled in the aftermath.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, this stuff, I mean, it happens all the time.
Like, have you seen Blue Mountain State? Either of you guys? The TV
Yeah,
show?
I've seen episodes. I didn't watch it religiously.
So it used to be on Spike TV, and it was kind of just a comedy about a college football team. And there was this scene where the captain of the team was trying to tell everybody about how dangerous it is to have sex when you're in the position that they're in and when you're maybe going to end up in the NFL. And so he's like walking through the house, and this girl is there, and she has a condom, and the guy pours a bottle of water into the condom, and it's just leaking out all over the place.
Yeah,
and they're like, this is the danger. They want to get you trapped.
All right. I have a story to tell you guys. Did not happen to me, and I can attest to this. I would tell you if it happened to me. But I heard a story that after a one-night stand, and this was, I'm not even going to tell you how this was proven later, but that a person took something out of a trash can and, using a turkey baster, made it so life was made.
Is that even possible?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Apparently so. And if it isn't, then something else. I mean, like, because there were DNA tests and things went down, and yeah, it was a bad scene. But like you just said, Ben, like, I mean, really the only way to completely avoid it is complete, like, monastery celibacy. But I mean, I don't know. That doesn't sound like fun.
I just don't even know what you do.
Yeah, it's a tricky. I mean, look, it's a slippery slope once you open up that Pandora's box, where the younger players who are coming up in this generation are able to make money younger. Like, we're not going to be reading stories like this about guys like Jamar Chase, who are in his second or third year in the NFL, making huge dollar bills, with an NFL franchise. You're going to be hearing stories like these of players at Ole Miss or at, North Carolina or Kentucky or San Diego State.
Like 20, 25 years ago, before social media, like, I'm sure, Rich, even during your playing era, it was a little different. But now, like, if Zion hooks up with an OnlyFans model, the next day she's going to blast it out on Twitter or on OnlyFans or on wherever her outlets are. And then the entire world's going to know who Zion Williamson is having sex with.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I don't know, man. It's I mean, exactly. I don't even know what to make of this story. I mean, I guess the truth will come out eventually, because he's now making this a legal issue. He's claiming that he's being harassed, and Jamar Chase is,
and she's harassing his mom also.
Oh yeah, on social media as well. Yeah,
no, that's what he's saying.
Yeah, really bad stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I don't envy that part.
Let's just all be virgins.
Okay,
cool.
Okay, ready? Done. Virgins on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Virgin!
Yay!
It feels so weird to say I'm totally not jealous of a 24-year-old rich, super athletic dude in the NFL, but I'm not jealous of that part.
That part. Yeah, that part, not at all.
The rest of it sounds pretty cool.
Yeah, it does.
All right, coming up next, we'll stick with the NFL. He's going to get the start, but does he deserve it? Also, he's getting banged up at practice, but does he deserve it? And what's in the box for concert tickets? All of that's next on Big Rich, TD, and Fletch.
We're number 2, Big Rich, TD, and Fletch. This update presented by the Jim Patrol Real Estate Team. Padres, they look like a new team last night. They smashed the Orioles 10-3. They get their first grand slam of the year. It came from Gary Sanchez, a.k.a. Scorpio, a.k.a. Carrie Panchez. They do gain a game in the playoff race. They're now 5.5 games out with 42 games left. NL West yesterday, Rockies fall to the D-backs 8-5. Giants take down the Rays 7-0. Dodgers beat the Brewers 6-2. In the NFL, Bryce Young named the Week 1 starter in Carolina at quarterback, and Anthony Richardson named Week 1 starter in Indianapolis. Would you like to know what your home would sell for today? Get a simple text message with your home's value by texting your address to 855-600-6000. You'll get no phone call, just a text. Jim Patrol has the buyers. Simply text your address to 855-600-6000. Hour 2 coming up next.
Yeah! Woo! Happy Wednesday to those who celebrate. Big Rich, TD, and Fletch with you on a hump day. We have a very busy hour. We start our concert ticket giveaways. So we have Duran Duran, Pantera, and Darius Rucker's tickets all on the line today. Now, we're going to do this in a very specific way. First, we have secured a box. And with that box, an item has been
shaped. It's a bucket.
More of a bucket. Okay,
It's
a bucket.
It's theater of the mind.
We've secured a bucket. Well, it's not theater of the mind anymore because we stream every single day on YouTube,
Oh, yeah.
Big Rich, TD, and Fletch, so people will see the bucket. So
That's
I
right.
guess we need some clarity there.
That's right. I was thinking, by the way, that when we are streaming this and it's in the box, like this is intended, we can't show what's in the box.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
So you guys have to be careful not to show what's in the box or in terms of today, the bucket.
Right.
And when we play what's in the box, I am in a studio in Los Angeles today. So what we'll do is we'll get a caller on the line in about 27 minutes. And that caller is going to have to play along with me. And I'm going to ask you and Ben questions. And these questions hopefully will reveal to us what's in the box. So me and the caller contestant are going to try to guess what's in the box. And if we fail, well, then the tickets, whichever pair that he decides he wants to play for, are going to go to a different caller on the line.
Now,
So,
just out of curiosity, I mean, is there a reason that you're playing along? Should we just have the listener ask questions and give them 10 questions? If they don't get it in 10, we go to the next caller who gets 5.
that's a great question. And the answer is because we can't trust our listeners to ask good questions.
Okay, good call. Good call. Good call. Good call. All right, perfect.
Or
listen,
it'll be one of these. Sorry, what'd you say?
Mm,
Wait, can you say that one more time?
yeah, it'd be great. It's theater of the mind, theater of radio forbids us from allowing too much responsibility to the people calling in. But
you're a genius.
we will actually, I will do this with whoever ends up calling in about 25 minutes for what's in the box. I will ask them for a question. It'll almost be like a lifeline. Like, all right, hey, did I miss anything? Like, should I ask about the color? Should I ask about the texture?
Yeah,
that type of stuff.
I got you. Okay. Okay.
So yeah, what's in the box is coming up in just a little bit, and we're gonna play for concert tickets there. Back to the NFL though, because we're gonna have Kevin Acey, our Padres insider, on later in the show. And he'll give us all the updates on the surging Padres as they hit their first ever Grand Slam in the 2023 season. Can't wait to talk to Kevin later.
Over under on run score tonight.
We set the line at 2.
Under. Text line
under.
70470. Start your message with team. Over under on run score tonight for the Padres. Line
Okay,
set
let's
at 2.
let's set the line at 2.5. 2.5. You have to take the over or the under. How many runs will the Padres score? The line set at 2.5. I would love to hear from our listeners. Yeah, it's a great idea. Anthony Richardson is the named starter in Indianapolis. He is going to be the starting quarterback. So it's a clean sweep. We've got Bryce Young, the named starter for the Carolina Panthers. Looks like CJ Stroud will be the starter for the Houston Texans. And Anthony Richardson, the named starter for the Colts, beats out Gardner Minshew for the job. And I don't know. He says he's shocked. He says he's grateful. I don't know how shocking this is. You're the 4th overall pick.
And
Yeah, exactly.
I also don't like that he used the word "I'm shocked."
Oh, interesting.
Like, if you're an NFL quarterback, you need to have the utmost confidence. Like, if you, Rich, you talk about two of the most confident people you've ever been around, whether they're humble or not, Phillip Rivers and Tom Brady. Am I right?
No doubt.
Like, if they weren't the ones playing, they didn't have faith that the team could do anything because the responsibility had to be on them. I don't love that the first thing we hear from Anthony Richardson since draft day is that I'm shocked that I'm the starter.
Yeah, he's trying to be humble, I guess, about it. I would think. I mean, I'm with you. I mean, you're 4th overall pick. There was a good chance they wanted you to start.
Yeah. I mean, typically when a team goes ahead and takes you with a top 5 draft selection, you're essentially what that means, because let's be very clear about what it means to be a first-round draft pick in the NFL. The amount of capital that includes. Because think about how much you can get if you trade away a first-round draft pick, or maybe even a couple of first-round draft picks. I mean, the Rams, they made a habit of trading away first-round draft picks, and they built a roster that won a Super Bowl. So a first-round draft pick is mightily valuable. So when you are a first rounder, it means that you are expected to be a player that is going to be a franchise-changing player for the better. You're going to walk through the doors and immediately the franchise is better. That's the expectation. And that's the reason why so many first-round quarterbacks bust, because when we think about the expectations, it's not that they can't play in the league. Many first-round quarterbacks can play in the league. They end up becoming starters who are, 2nd tier or 3rd tier quarterbacks, and they bounce around team to team for a very long time. But we never look at them as like franchise changing quarterbacks, like a Ryan Tannehill, who is a former first rounder. Like, he's not that guy. But I mean, is he good enough to play? Yeah, he's good enough to play. So that's the expectation.
Well, we've had like 3 drafted in the last 5 years, right? Patrick Mahomes, Joe Burrow, and Justin Herbert.
Yeah. I mean, and think about how many others were drafted.
And the book is still out on Justin Herbert. Like, he's great and he's been great, but the Chargers haven't done anything.
Well, yeah, I don't think wins are quarterback stat. Because there's too many other factors that are included in that. Justin Herbert has the goods. I mean, it's very clear. Like, if he played for Andy Reid in Kansas City, or if he played even in the AFC North for Zach Taylor with the Bengals, I think the outcomes would be better for him.
For sure.
But he plays for the Chargers, and Brandon Staley in close games hasn't been a great decision maker, and that defense has been poor. I mean, if you think about it, for all the things that have been said about Justin Herbert and that offense not scoring a single point on the Jacksonville Jaguars in the second half of that game, they piled up over 20 in the first half, and Brandon Staley, who was like wonder kid defensive coordinator with the Los Angeles Rams when they won the Super Bowl, his defense gave up all those points in the second half for the Jacksonville Jaguars to come back and then advance on to the divisional round and play against the Chiefs, and almost beat the Chiefs, by the way. So anyways, getting back to the point, Anthony Richardson's going to start in Indianapolis. Are you as shocked as him that he got the start?
No, not at all. And I think, look, he's athletic enough to make a big difference in this modern NFL. He does have an arm. Like, you look at his stats from college, and I think they're a little misleading, but the dude's a gamer. Like, I really like Anthony Richardson coming into this draft process, and we'll see what he can do. I don't have a ton of faith in the Colts organization. Unfortunately, I think he probably didn't land in the best of spots, but I have seen his rap video.
Yes.
He's not bad.
He's a rapper.
Oh, did we not get to edit that out?
We can play about 5 seconds. But I think it's fair to say Blake Snell has some competition and Damian Lillard for best rapper in professional sports.
Wow.
Can we hear just a little snippet of it?
I got 5 seconds that we can play before he drops an S-bomb.
Okay. All right. Let's hear it. Yeah. Okay.
All right. That actually is not bad.
He's got the goods.
Yeah. It's actually not bad.
I'll tell you what.
I mean, like, if you said this was a new rapper, I would be like, all right. I mean, I get it.
Should I send it over to Frankie V?
I mean, yeah.
So that he could play it on 93.3.
Yeah, he could spin the hits.
Oh, yeah. Frankie V now. He'll spin some hits. Now, he goes by the name GVO. It's an acronym for Gainesville's Own.
Okay.
So this rap career started at very least when he was at Florida, maybe earlier than that. I don't know exactly where he was born. Maybe he was born in Gainesville. But yeah, Anthony Richardson, shocked and grateful for the opportunity to be the starting quarterback of the Indianapolis Colts. An excellent rapper and apparently a pretty decent human being because, look, Gardner Minshew is a competitive guy. Did I think he was going to be the Colts starter this year? No, probably not, because the ceiling is so high for Anthony Richardson, but he is a competitive guy. And he had a lot of nice things to say about Anthony Richardson at his press conference after the news came out. Here's what Gardner Minshew had to say.
We're waiting for it. There we go. Perfect answer.
Yeah.
Perfect. And nicely done, man. And
should have kept the stash.
Well, he kept the stash, but he still has he just built that beard around it.
They should have kept the stash.
I love the stash.
It was so good.
Mm-hmm. What are you doing over here, by the way, with the stash? I'm seeing some other growth on the chin.
I'm just lazy.
Okay.
No,
Like,
no.
The stash takes so much upkeep.
What?
Don't even. You did this to us last time. You know what you are? You're a stash tease. Like, that's all you are. You grow out a beautiful, thick upper lip warmer, and then all of a sudden, look at this thing. Look at him. He's pursing his lips at the camera. This guy, what a handsome devil. And then he shaves it right off.
Yeah. Wait, hold on, though.
I still have the stash. It's there.
Well, yeah, I guess true. But you don't shave it off.
Substantially longer with everything else on my face.
Yeah, the rest of your face really caught up quick.
It goes so fast, man.
Wow.
You're like
a chia pet.
Yeah, like a chia pet.
You just feed me.
Is Kendall happy with this current look?
She hates the mustache solo so much.
Why?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I think she just hates my face. I really do think that that's the correct answer, because every time I do anything to shave off anything less than a full beard, she's like, you're ugly.
No, I mean, does
she calls
she really
me an
say
egghead.
that? No, she doesn't say that.
She does call me an egghead.
Okay, well, that is fairly accurate. I mean, I hate to agree with Kendall on this one, but you've got actually a pretty decent shaped head. It just does look like an egg.
Look at that.
Look at that thing.
Gosh.
Look at that melon.
That's fantastic. Right? This is the first time I've switched over to look at the stream today. And Rich, for whatever reason, with the headset, and it almost looks like whatever shirt you're wearing. Yeah, I feel like maybe you should be selling me a ShamWow at the fair.
A mustache right now.
Yeah,
actually, I kind of do. I mean, like the rest of the, like the cheek scruff is coming in also, but my mustache also grows in super dark compared to my other facial hair.
Nice.
Look at this.
Yeah,
I got a lot more grays like in the beard.
You guys are good looking men. That's all I'm saying.
I'll tell you what,
if good company.
I'll tell you what, I feel like you're the nerdy girl in the movie who just needs to take off that bright yellow Brixton hat and those glasses, and then we'll reveal a beautiful swan. Go ahead and do it. Like, hang on, take that. There he goes. He's taking off his headphones. There goes the hat. There goes the glasses.
Oh man, and he has that one strand of hair that I could push behind his ear.
Oh my gosh.
Oh.
Wait, put it all back on. I am so sorry. I was completely wrong. This is wow, what a mistake we made.
Oh God.
It looks like he's in an Herbal Essences commercial. You guys remember that? You'd be watching TGIF, like step by step, and all of a sudden there would be a woman having a full-blown orgasm on a shampoo commercial.
Yes, I remember that. Come on.
Wait, where was I?
Dude.
Oh man, these were great commercials.
Like, you got to look this up.
Literally, there'd be a woman in the shower, and it was always like the husband was in the kitchen, and she could hear his wife down the hall. Oh, yeah. Be like, what's going on in there, honey?
Okay, well, 949 on the text line has thoughts about all of our looks. 949 says, Ben, when you turn sideways, that thick stash looks great. Thank you, sir.
Hang on a second.
Also says Rich looks extra Chris Prattish today.
Oh yeah.
I just
yeah,
rewatched
hey,
Guardians
now.
3. That is a hell of a flick.
Yeah. Did you cry again?
No, I didn't cry this
Oh,
time.
God.
I teared up in theaters, not so much this time.
I literally cried 98% of that movie.
Are you trying to overtalk so that you don't see what 949 has to say about you?
No, I didn't see it.
Oh, you look a little Kevin James-ish today.
Oh,
Well, I mean,
look
you
a
know,
little
talking
Kevin James this every day.
Hitch Kevin James? Because that was a substantially
probably.
fatter Kevin James than current day Kevin James.
Yeah, I'm sure he's talking about Mall Cop, Paul Blart.
all right, Ben, I put Herbal Essence commercial compilation from YouTube on the rundown.
Mhm.
So at your discretion, I want you to click that link. I want you to play it because this is what you missed out on in the late 90s to early 2000s on network television, right in the middle of Family Matters and The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. You would go to commercial more after this break, and it would be a woman having a full-blown orgasm in the shower. And like you said, it would be like a husband chopping carrots for the salad that they were making for dinner. Like,
she's in a grocery store right now and putting her hands through her hair and making some noises.
Are we not allowed to? We're not allowed to play the Herbal Essence commercial?
I don't think it airs anymore.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah,
either.
I think you could play it. I think we could get away with that.
Oh, it's someone in an airplane bathroom.
Oh, dude, put that one on. Cue that one up. That one's the one. That one's the one. Because then all of a sudden the door bursts open. It's just like, yes! Yes! And you're just like, wow, ma'am.
Shampoo commercial.
They use that drop.
That's what from Harry Met Sally?
No, I think that was the commercial.
Oh wait, what are you talking about?
That yes.
Who uses the drop?
CJ.
Oh, he does?
Oh, he might. Honestly, dude, this was a famous commercial.
Is that our show open?
That might be in our show open.
Bring that in our show open.
Actually, if it's not, let's put it in our show open.
Let's do that, CJ. We need that.
all I know is that you would be watching Full House, okay? And Uncle Jesse just had to sit down with DJ because
she stole a candy bar.
Yeah, because look, every once in a while you got to learn the price of honesty. And then you would go to commercial break and there would be a woman having at herself in an airplane bathroom, and all of a sudden your mom would be like, okay, just clicking the channel over real quick, and either that or I'd be like, Mom, Dad, I have to use the restroom right now and I don't want anybody to walk to that side of the house.
It's gonna be really smelly.
I participated in a DJ spinoff a long time ago, and I had to have a DJ name, and I submitted DJ Tanner. And no one had any idea what I was talking about. Shockingly.
That's a fantastic DJ.
Yeah, right? On the text line from the StreamYard, from the YouTube, we got Paris saying 6 runs tonight. Maria weighed in and took the over 3 runs tonight. And then 1 minute later said 2 runs tonight. So it's going down.
Yeah, it's a little bit difficult to quantify the level of suck that we may see on the other side of a double-digit run game for the Padres, because if you look back, and I bet you if we did this, it wouldn't be an exercise in futility to prove the point. If we looked at every double-digit run game for the Padres in the 2023 season, and then we looked at the game directly after it, it would be a 1 or a 2 run game.
Right. But what happens if they come out and score another 10 tonight? Does that change any feeling we have about the team?
I need to see 4 in a row.
4 in a row. 4 10 run games in a row, or just 4 wins?
I need this homestand to be 7-3.
Yeah.
At the very least.
7-3 almost feels like it's not enough.
It's 4 games against the Diamondbacks, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so 3 against the Orioles here.
And then they got the Marlins. So both the Diamondbacks and the Marlins, they need to make up ground on.
Well, yeah.
Okay.
What's nice is the majority of the teams they play the rest of the season are ahead of them in the wild card race. Now, you say, well, that's nice because they can make up ground. It's also bad because every loss you take is pushing you further back.
1,000,000%.
But it is an opportunity. Brewers, Marlins, Diamondbacks, all teams, namely, who are in front of them in the wild card race that they could catch up on if they get wins. But like you said, I mean, the wild card race, it's a fickle beast because if you lose those games, it counts as double.
Well, and what did we just see them do against the Diamondbacks?
Yeah.
Play some of their worst baseball of the season.
I just scrolled back. I'm looking at May 26th, Padres versus the Yankees. They score 5, Yankees score 1. Next game, Padres score 2. Next game, Padres score 7. Next game, Padres got 9, and then 1, and then 10, and then 2, and then 6, and then 1. 5, 1, 10, 2.
This is what I'm saying.
I mean,
this is what I'm saying. Every time the offense wakes up, it's almost the exact next game. Every single time it feels like they all like it's almost like, there, we showed them we could still do it. Now let's hang up our bats and play video games. Like, I don't understand it.
Hey, against the Giants, they scored 10. The very next day against the Nationals, 13.
And then what happened the next day?
0.
What about the Diamondback series that just happened, Trav? Look at the first game of the Diamondback series. I think they scored 13.
I've got to scroll down. Hang on. I don't know where I'm at now.
Keep scrolling.
And after that game, it was 2 games in a row where it was 1-0.
How about 14 against the Tigers? The next night, 1.
See, this was a guess, by the way, just based on what we've seen. You know, I honestly, it's an educated guess. We pay attention to scores every single day. We watch all these games, but still, like, it's a trend. It's an alarming trend, and it's one that you can almost set your watch by. Today, the most likely outcome, if we're going to set the line at 2 runs or 2.5 runs, the under is going to hit in the Padres game because that's the inconsistency we've seen it with this offense. All right, we got to get off
series.
The Padres.
First game, 10 runs, win. Second game, 0 runs, loss. Third game, 4 runs, loss.
Oh, gosh. Okay, we're going to talk to Kevin Acee, our Padres insider, and our best friend. However, I do have an axe to grind with him. That's going to be in the 8 o'clock hour. But coming up next, we have concert tickets to give away. We have Duran Duran tickets, Pantera tickets, Darius Rucker's tickets. So we're going to need a caller on the line, 844-570-1360. That phone number again for concert tickets, 844-570-1360. Whoever gets on the line first, you're going to play What's in the Box for concert tickets coming up next. Duran Duran tickets, Pantera tickets, Darius Rucker tickets. That's what's on the line next for What's in the Box.
This update is presented by the Jim Betrayal Real Estate Team. Padres look like a new team last night. They smashed the Orioles 10-3. They get their first Grand Slam of the year. It came from Gary Sanchez, and they do gain a game in the playoff race. They're now 5.5 games out, 42 games left. NL West yesterday, Rockies fall to the D-backs 8-5. Giants take down the Rays 7-0. Dodgers beat the Brewers 6-2. In the NFL, Bryce Young named the Week 1 starter for Carolina. Anthony Richardson named the Week 1 starter for Indianapolis. Tomorrow night will start Week 2 of the NFL preseason as the Cleveland Browns take on the Philadelphia Eagles. Would you like to know what your home would sell for today? Get a simple text message with your home's value by texting your address to 855-600-6000. You'll get no phone call, just a text. Jim Betrell has the buyer. Simply text your address to 855-600-6000.
Yeah, buddy. Little Duran Duran, Big Rich, TD, and Fletch, San Diego Sports 760. And we're playing a little Duran Duran because we have Duran Duran tickets we're going to be giving away. They're going to be at North Island Credit Union Amphitheater on August 22nd. For tickets and info, go to Ticketmaster.com. We still have Pantera and Darius Rucker tickets as well. But right now we're going to be doing, I was going to say a new game show, but we tried it last week. We've made a few changes. We still don't have a box, but we have a bucket, which works as the box. And yeah, we're going to play What's in the Box. And the way this works is, Rich, you are going to join our caller contestant, Scott, who is going to be playing for those Duran Duran tickets. He and you will be asking questions that Ben and I will answer.
Yeah.
And you have to guess what's in the effing box.
I love this so much. Okay, so we're going to bring Scott up on the phone line right now. Scott, so you want to play for the Duran Duran tickets, and it is up to us to ask Travis and Ben questions to unveil to us with our guests what exactly is in the box. Okay.
Is there a limit on how many questions?
So we have 10 questions.
Okay.
10 questions.
All right.
I think, I mean, look, we're definitely going to get it. I have full confidence in Scott and myself to come up with great questions. Now, Scott, don't tell me where you work, but what do you do for a living?
I do accounting.
Okay, does accounting.
Okay,
So
all
this is a guy who spends a lot of time around an office. You guys, I believe, raided somebody's desk for the item. That's a little clue that we got on the one side of the break, Scott. So okay, so with that,
Want me to give you one more clue?
yeah, I would love one more clue.
It was just a desk. It may not have been somebody's.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, Scott, here we go. I'm looking at the live stream. Could one of you turn the camera around to the bucket? Oh, there it is. Okay, so Travis is holding the bucket. There it is. Okay, here we go. I'm going to ask the first question, Scott, and I'll keep asking them unless you want to jump in. You let me know. Would you use this item in a classroom?
Suppose you could, but no,
No.
you generally would not
No.
think that this item belongs in a classroom.
No, no.
Okay.
The answer is no on that.
Okay, so that's a no. All right, how about this? Is the item soft?
Yes.
Interesting.
But not like a pillow soft.
Okay, but it has a soft texture like when you pet it, you mean?
You wouldn't pet it.
Or is it squish? Or is it
Squishy would be a better word.
Squishy,
Okay,
yes,
okay.
yeah.
Is it squishy?
Yeah.
Is it squishy? That's a yes. Okay.
Yeah, it's
okay.
a yes. Yeah.
All right, Scott. So far, we know that you wouldn't use it in a classroom, and it is squishy. All right,
To
moving
be
on.
honest, my wife would use it in a classroom.
Oh boy.
So like,
All right.
Yeah. Okay. Go on.
Okay. Next question. Is it used? I guess it has to be a yes or no question. Is it a tool?
No.
no,
Okay, it's not a tool. Okay, is it used for entertainment?
no,
No.
Interesting. Okay. Is it bigger than a cantaloupe?
no.
Okay, it's small. Okay, Scott. So I've asked 6 questions and I'm no closer to figuring out what it is. So you wouldn't use it in a classroom. It is squishy. It is not a tool. It's also not used for entertainment, and it's not bigger than a cantaloupe. Those are our 6 questions so far. Any questions come to your mind, Scott?
Oh man, mine's kind of specific. Is it something you would squeeze?
Ooh, good question.
Yes. Yes, it is.
Okay, would
Yes,
you
it is.
squeeze it? Is a yes. Okay, let
And
me
that's
ask.
not entertaining?
Nope. Not. It is not that. No, not for entertaining, but you would squeeze it. Yes.
You would squeeze it.
Yeah.
Jeez. Okay, it's squishy. You would squeeze it. All right. No, that's not. Okay.
Yeah, okay. So there's one question that I feel like I would have asked right out of the get-go on this, and is it a food? Is
Yeah,
what I
well,
would have asked. So I'm
okay.
going to give that to you as a bonus, and the answer is yes.
Oh, it's food, but you would squeeze it.
Mm-hmm.
Holy cow. All right. Is it yellow?
No.
Damn it. Okay. Hang on a second.
I know what you're thinking right now.
It's not mustard,
It's
Rich.
not mustard.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, wait. Is it green?
No.
No.
Oh, okay. Oh, we're running out of questions,
Yeah,
Scott.
but,
Okay.
But you know what? Since this is the first time we've done this, we should go 15 questions.
I think so.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's not yellow, it's not green. Scott, man. All right, save us. We need another question from you. Use that big, beautiful accounting brain and give us another question to guess what's in the box for Duran Duran tickets.
Oh, I really want to win these tickets. Is it a liquid?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. Dude, great question. Is it a liquid? The answer is yes.
That was a great question.
Holy smokes.
So
Wait a
might be
second. So it's a food, but it's a liquid food and you can squeeze it. Oh gosh. Oh my gosh. This is so tough.
Cookie.
Wow. Are you giving clues over
Yeah,
there?
Rich isn't looking. He's looking at the ceiling.
Oh.
Wait.
Wait.
Oh, wait. Show me the clue again. Show me the clue again. What did you do? Oh, okay. Hang on. Is it white?
No.
Damn it. Is it red?
Yes.
Oh, Scott, we're close. We're close here, Scott. Okay, so we found out it's red. It is a liquid. It is a food of some sort. It is squishy. It is not used for entertainment, but that's debatable. Okay, Scott, I have a guess in mind. I'm ready to solve. My question is, are you ready to solve as well?
Oh, this is pretty spicy.
I trust you, man. So
Okay, hang on.
I suppose you can guess, and it's not a question.
Okay, hang on a second.
Yeah,
Is
I guess that counts as a question,
it-
but we can move on from there.
Yeah.
Well, let's give Scott a guess, but it comes down to Rich's guess.
Okay,
Okay.
Wait, last question. I think we're up to 14. I want to ask one. Is it spicy?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, Scott. All right, you ask your question first, and then I'll ask my question next.
Well, I think are we at it? Or do you have to?
I think we got to solve. I
Yeah,
think
you
we're
gotta
up to solve. Okay.
What's your guess, Scott?
Well, I don't want to blow it, man. Rich sounds like he knows what's going on.
Well, we'll give it to you, and then we'll default to Rich.
Okay, is it like some kind of spice ketchup packet type thing?
Yeah, let's give it
Pretty
to him.
spot
Let's give it to
on.
him. Yeah, let's
Wow.
Yeah, get that winter music.
Wow.
It's a hot sauce packet. It's a hot sauce packet.
Yes. I was gonna guess hot sauce.
Yeah.
I would not have guessed hot sauce packet.
Yeah. But it's hot sauce. I mean, it could.
Wow.
Yeah. It's squishy.
Holy smokes.
Right.
And
There
it's
it
Jack
is.
in the Box.
It's Jack in the
Oh,
Box.
it's Jack in the Box hot
Right.
sauce.
Which is
Wow.
really good, by the way.
Yeah,
Really good.
you know what it's really good on? If you go to Jack in the Box and you pour it on their chicken fajita pita,
No
Holy
way. I haven't
smokes.
had that.
dude, yeah, it's really good stuff.
Wow. When they were in here on Friday, I poured about 30 of these on one breakfast taco, and it was phenomenal. But Scott, man, he won himself Duran Duran tickets. They're going to be at the North Island Credit Union Amphitheater on August 22nd. Everybody else going to Ticketmaster.com if they want tickets or info. But Scott is going on Big Rich, CD, and Fletch. Hang on the line there, Scott, and Ben will get your info. We did it.
We
Sort of.
I think we did it.
We've almost figured out
Yeah.
how to play what's in the box.
It took us about 6 weeks to get to that's Bunk Man.
Oh, that's true. Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah, we have a running theme on this show. Our game shows take about a month and a half to 2 months to really dial in.
And then we get sick of them.
Got a mustache.
Holy smokes. Okay. Scott's our big winner. That's a big deal. Okay, so he's going to Duran Duran, but that means that we still have Darius Rucker tickets available at Gallagher Square. We still have Pantera tickets available at North Island Credit Union Amphitheater, both coming up later in August. You could go to Ticketmaster.com for more information there. But you could just stick around and maybe hope that you are the extra special listener that wins those. But coming up next, last football season, we had brutal honesty delivered every Thursday. And the gentleman who is honest with all of us says, hey, what the hell else am I supposed to do? Those games sucked. You'll hear more from him on the other side. So I'm sure you guys have ran into this before. I had a conversation with my wife over the weekend. We were visiting family at a lake house, and she put on a swimsuit, and she was like, "Do you like this? Do I look good in this?" And my answer was automatically yes.
Yep.
I mean, I didn't even think about whether or not I liked it or not. I just knew the answer was yeah. Like, I mean, I honestly didn't really have a strong opinion one way or the other. I mean, I think she looks good in anything,
Mhm.
but at the same token, even if I didn't, the answer was going to be yes.
Yeah, of course it is. Of course. Come on.
Brutal honesty isn't always looked at as warranted or wanted. But I got to tell you, when Al Michaels is brutally honest about Thursday Night Football, nothing makes me happier.
Oh, I love it. I absolutely love it.
I mean, you never hear a play-by-play man complain openly about the games and the schedule like Al Michaels did last year when Amazon Prime had its debut Thursday Night Football season. And he literally was like, well, no surprise here, the outcome of that game.
His honesty and his distaste for or dismay for the terrible games that were happening were the reason to watch the terrible games.
I completely.
They were terrible games, though.
They were terrible
It's
games.
like, hopefully Amazon fixes it this year. I'll look through the Thursday night games, but some of these quotes from Al Michaels are hilarious. He says, look, sometimes I'll take some S. People say he didn't get excited enough. What do you want me to do? Scream, holler, yell the game? That ain't me. That ain't Joe Buck. That ain't Jim Nance. I can't pay attention to anti-social media. We live in a country with 330 million people, and if 8 people rip you on social media, I'm pretty good, huh?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Well, I love it. I love the honesty. I think it's refreshing. Like I said, not in every single forum, not with every single person can you get away with this kind of honesty, like brutal honesty. But he does this lengthy feature with Sports Business Journal, and they asked him questions about Thursday Night Football because, like I said, he was openly bashing the schedule makers for putting some dog bleep games on his schedule. And look, he cites anti-social media. So he then coined a phrase, which I may start using.
I think I want to be
Anti-social media.
I think I want to be anti-social media.
Yeah.
It's a perfect phrase. I mean, that's a perfect description.
So correct me if I'm wrong, but week 1, the Thursday night football game between the Chiefs and the Lions, that's not on Amazon, right? That's on one of the big networks.
No, I believe that. Well, I believe it's going to be streamed on NBC. No,
right. I'm
no.
pretty sure it's Tirico and Collinsworth, though. I don't think it's the Amazon Prime crew.
No, I think you're right. I think Thursday Night Football, the kickoff of the season, is on NBC. But I got to look that up because I'm not 1,000%
I know
sure.
for a fact last year, because everyone was ready for the Amazon Prime week 1, but it wasn't them because the week 1 of the season is different for some reason. But Vikings and Eagles is week 2.
Yeah.
Giants, Niners week 3. Lions, Packers week 4. Bears, Commanders week 5. That's your first real stinker. Broncos, Chiefs week 6. Like, they're not great, but they don't seem as bad as last year.
I'm trying to find out where it might be a NBC game. Yeah, but here's the deal. Either way, the NFL also has changed their what do they call it when they can slide games in and out?
Flex.
Their flex scheduling, where it now includes Thursday night games. So a team can potentially play up to, I think, 6 Thursday night games. And Thursday Night Football, Amazon has the ability to flex certain games in the schedule into the Thursday night slot. And this obviously is a knee-jerk reaction to what everybody knows and everybody witnessed from last season, including Al Michaels, which is the fact that those games stunk last year.
So it is on NBC. It's part of a special Thursday night edition of Sunday Night Football. So it'll be Tirico and Collinsworth.
Okay. So check this out. He says, now, anybody sitting in a basement has a platform. You can't let things like that distress you. I've been doing this for so long, and I wouldn't be here at this point still doing major packages if I was doing it the wrong way. Okay. So, yes, Al Michaels' voice, I think, is synonymous with football at this point. You know, he's obviously a play-by-play man who's had his voice come over the top of some of the greatest moments in American and, frankly, international sports. But now he's synonymous with football. So as long as he's willing to do it, and as long as he doesn't lose his wits, I think Al Michaels can pretty much, write his own destiny, write his own future. But I will say this. There is a point where you cut off your nose to spite your face. And I think since it was so obvious last year that those games were awful, he didn't come off sounding curmudgeonly or grumpy. But if he does it in back-to-back seasons and some of those games end up being good, well, then all of a sudden the common denominator becomes Al Michaels. So,
Right.
Yeah, and people will start to speculate whether he's salty that NBC didn't give him the deal that he wanted, and they moved
Right.
Tirico in, which I believe Tirico and Collinsworth is an inferior product to Michaels and Collinsworth. I thought that was the best duo in the game. But now Al Michaels and Kirk Herbstreit, that could also be part of it. He could just not like sitting next to Kirk Herbstreit, who, by the way, he seemed just as annoyed with Kirk last year as he did the games that were on TV.
This is one of the funniest quotes from the Sports Business Journal article. He said, in fact, at one point during the game, and I forget which game he mentioned that. Oh, it was the Denver-Indianapolis game. This was the one that we went to Islands.
Yeah.
And we watched all together, you, me, and Travis. We went over to Islands, and I mean, that was one of the worst football games I think any of us have ever seen.
Great night, though.
Oh, it was a great night.
God,
we had
craving those
fun,
fries with mac and cheese and buffalo tiki tenders.
It went into overtime, and I think just regular time, it went 9 hours.
I do believe we were there for 9.5 hours.
That was a Major League Baseball game of NFL.
It was all field goals.
He wrote, in fact, at one point during that game, that Indy-Denver game, I turned and I said to Kirk Herbstreit, is it possible that a game could be so bad that it's actually good? He'd never heard that from a partner before, and he just simply said, no.
Oh, I cannot wait till I get to the age where I just say F it. Like nothing bothers you.
Well, you also have to have 40 mil in the bank, which Al Michaels does. That's his net
I
worth.
think I probably will by 78.
Yeah, well, the value of the dollar is going to be so low that 40 mil might be like a couple bucks.
Well, what's amazing
Sweet.
is in the article also, I guess at some point during the season, Al Michaels' brother, David, called him up on the phone and he was warning him. He's like, dude, he was like, I think you're going a little too far. I think you could get in trouble for bashing the slated games that you're calling. And then he said, are you worried about it all? He goes, no, I'm not. Watch what happens. And he was 100% right, because instead of firing Al Michaels or censuring him or doing anything, they basically said, yeah, Al's right. We're going to ask the NFL to change the flex rules. And so
Which good for him. He doesn't want to spend the twilight of his career calling bad games. Like,
Yeah.
It was pretty clear what Amazon was doing last year. They were trying to get in as many markets as possible, regardless of how good the game was.
Well, I also think the NFL had a lot to do with it. Like, they were making it very clear that traditional media is going to get the best games, and the new streamers on the block, they're not going to get looked at as favorably, because remember, they made all of the money the NFL has made has been off of the traditional media networks. We'll see what happens in the future, though. Going to be interesting.
Yeah.
All right, coming up next, Padres got a big win. What does that mean for their next game, though? We'll talk to Kevin Acey, our Padres insider and our best friend, about that. Also, NFL one-liners on the other side. We'll be right back after these messages.
Hour number 3, Big Rich, TD, and Fletch. This update presented by Staples Stores. Starting off with the Padres. They smashed the Orioles last night, 10-3 final score. They get their first grand slam of the year, which is kind of embarrassing. Gary Sanchez hit it, and they gain a game in the playoff race. They are now 5.5 out, 42 left in the year. NL West yesterday, Rockies fall to the D-backs 8-5. Giants beat the Rays 7-0. Dodgers beat the Brewers 6-2. And in the NFL, jobs have been won. The Carolina Panthers named Bryce Young their week 1 starter. The Colts name Anthony Richardson their starting quarterback. Tomorrow night starts week 2 of the NFL preseason. Cleveland Browns taking on the Philadelphia Eagles. Staples has great prices on all the back-to-school essentials. Right now, you save even more with $20 back in rewards on your in-store purchase of $50 or more. Rewards members only. Ends 8/19. Redeemable in-store only. School on. Save on at Staples.
Woo! Happy Wednesday to those who celebrate. It's a hump day here on Big Rich, TD, and Fletch, and it's a hump day for all of you waking up with us. You got to get over the hump, right? Thursday is right there in the near distance. Then we tumble into a Bar Cart Friday, brought to you by Keg and Bottle, as they do every single week. We're inching nearer and nearer our 1-year anniversary as a show and as a station. San Diego Sports 760 had its debut in early September, so we're looking forward to celebrating that with all of our listeners. And also, we're only just 4 days departed from the 1-year anniversary of Fernando Tatis Jr.'s suspension from Major League Baseball for a banned substance.
We should get a cake.
We should get a you know what? That is an oversight that we will correct.
Can it be
as
like
soon as possible.
shaped like a syringe?
Oh, God.
No, it's
It's more like congratulations.
Yeah.
You got over the ringworm.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You got 3 hits last night.
Dude, there were so many people that had multiple hits.
Oh, I know.
Yeah, it was a fun-filled offensive game.
It's how, like, I don't know, 70% of their games should have been this year.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. But hey, turn that frown upside down.
No.
I'm sure they'll be able to follow up a double-digit run performance with another double-digit run performance.
I got a buck.
I got a buck right here. I got a buck.
And I'm not willing to spend it because I don't trust the Padres to score anything near double-digit runs after scoring double-digit runs.
I love it when the opposing team gives up and they start bringing in position players to pitch. I mean, I think that may be my favorite part of baseball.
It's pretty awesome.
Yeah, it's awesome.
It
And
is
then,
pretty
when
awesome.
they go out and they're striking people out on these lobs, God, I love it.
I want everybody to rewind the clock for a second, though, because even though we're celebrating a big Padres win last night, double digits like we mentioned, Blairy Manchez was able to hit a grand slam. The first grand slam of the Padres season occurred at home at Petco Park. There's a lot of positivity, but I want to rewind back a year ago. 4 days departed from the suspension, how we were all reeling because the Padres were really kind of in a desperate situation where late in the season, they were hoping for a shot in the arm, no pun intended, from Fernando Tatis Jr. to get them going in the right direction because they were starting to look like a team that was unwinding. They were starting to look like a team that was going to have a hard time making the postseason. And maybe Fernando Tatis Jr.'s energy and enthusiasm and charisma and excitement, and obviously his great play, was going to help put him over the top.
Rich, you remember around this time, I guess a couple weeks before this time last year, we saw the first video of Fernando Tatis Jr. at AAA, and he hit a triple, and he did a crazy slide into third base and was safe, and there was video of it. And we released a video that day of you in the screen all by yourself talking about Superman is returning to the Padres.
Yep.
And the excitement that was going through everyone's veins, no pun intended, of the Fernando Tatis Jr.'s return was incredible. And then the despair the day after. It happened on a Friday. It was a little bit of a Friday news dump. Someone took a picture of Fernando in the San Diego airport with a hood on. They're like, well, he's not due back for a couple days. Why is he here? And then all of a sudden the report comes out from Kevin Acee. I think had it first.
Well, what's so odd is, if you remember, the Friday that it got mentioned, that it came out, I was actually at the same exact lake that I went to this past weekend. So at the same exact date, I was at the same exact location. And I remember I was even called for an interview on Kogo News. Like they wanted, like Lou Penrose wanted to talk to me about this because it was breaking news all around San Diego. It didn't matter if you're a sports fan or not. You had an awareness of what Fernando Tatis Jr. meant to this city.
Mm-hmm.
And it was so deflating. But even under those circumstances, the reason why we're rewinding the clock is not to overwhelm everybody with negativity. It's to remember how dire the Straits felt last year and the fact that the Padres still found a way into the postseason. And not only into the postseason, but they beat the Mets, who were considered a team of destiny. Then they beat the Dodgers in the postseason after not beating them a single series in the regular season.
It's massive.
And then they got to the NLCS where they ran into a red-hot Phillies team, and we saw what happened there. But
Bryce Harper, damn you.
Damn you, Bryce Harper. I mean, not just Bryce. I mean,
Kyle Schwarber.
Schwarber was great. Like, they were all great. The pitching was great. But the point, I digress. The point is, it turned into a magical season because the Padres, ultimately, their talent wouldn't be denied. They needed to get into the crapshoot that is the playoffs in order for us to see how good they could be. Now, like with Darvish and Snell and potentially Joe Musgrove, if he could get the shoulder ready in shape for a postseason run, I mean, those are pretty damn good pitchers. And if this lineup starts hitting, I mean, if they get hot at the right time, I'm saying this, like it felt like despair everywhere you looked. A year ago this weekend with Fernando Tatis Jr. getting the suspension, we're in the same boat this year. Anything is possible. Anything is possible.
We're in a worse boat this year. Like the Padres are for sure in a worse boat this year. And I understand what you're saying, and the hope is there. And if this lineup gets into the postseason and it's a 3-game series, hell yeah, I feel confident with Joe Musgrove, Yu Darvish, and Blake Snell going out there. I really do. In this lineup who can kind of turn it on at any time. It's so much tougher this year because of the amount of teams that you're vying up against to get in. Last year, it was a 3-man race between the Padres, the Phillies, and the Brewers. The Phillies and the Padres both made it. But it was a 3-man race to get to those final 2 spots. This year, it's like a 7-man race.
Yeah, and
I
mean,
it's tougher. It is.
But even with the pitching, when you're talking about Snell, Musgrove, Michael Wacha, I mean, some great pitchers. If you got into the postseason, let's say they only give up 1, you still feel like the Padres might not be able to dig out of that hole if they're down 1 run, because we've seen it so many times. They get behind, they can't come back.
Yeah. And you know what, really, to both of your points at this juncture last year, the Padres were 65-53.
What are they right now?
They are under 500.
I'm pretty sure it's the inverse.
They're 6 games 500 under.
Yeah, I think they're 6 games under 500. I mean, the Padres, they are
57-63.
Okay,
so they're 1 away from the inverse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah. Yeah.
Golly.
I mean, look, it proves the point.
Dude, they were struggling last year. They were still that many games better than this year's team.
Well, but the
then
whole
again,
National League was better.
Yeah, I was going to say, but then again, you have to put everything in context. You have to remember that, like, if the Padres were playing in the American League this year, they would be so far out of it, we wouldn't be talking about the Padres anymore. We would literally turn our attention to the NFL season because the Padres would be toast.
Rich, 2 years ago, Darren Smith had AJ Preller on.
Yeah.
And he was talking to him about the fact that we have not gotten in San Diego any closer to the Dodgers than where we were when AJ Preller first got hired. And Darren grilled him a little bit, and I thought it was awesome. We're still 16 games back of Los Angeles right now.
Yeah. The Dodgers had a pretty troubling offseason if you're a Dodgers fan. They didn't make a lot of splashy moves. They didn't match anything the Padres did. The Padres went out and paid Xander Bogaerts a huge contract. The Dodgers got Noah Syndergaard. Right? The Dodgers didn't do anything at the trade deadline. The Padres bolstered their bullpen. They got a couple hitters. Like, the Padres made some moves, and a lot of people predicted the Padres to be sellers at the deadline, and they weren't. They doubled down. And the Straits, like we just pointed out, couldn't be any more dire. But then you return context to the conversation. The Dodgers literally have nothing to worry about. You know what the Dodgers have to worry about? The Dodgers have to worry about catching the Braves for the MLB leading record and potentially improving their seeding in the playoffs. That's the only thing left to worry about if you're a Dodger. The Dodgers literally are one of the best teams in baseball, and they did nothing this offseason to secure that. They just assumed, because they have a good culture in place, that even if they don't make the splashy moves, even if they lose Trey Turner in free agency, it isn't going to matter. They're going to still be good. And guess what? Their gamble paid off.
And they're probably still going to get Shohei Ohtani.
Yikes. Yikes.
Got it. I mean,
how's everyone feeling? We happy? You want the NFL horns?
Yeah, give me the NFL horns. It's time.
Cleanser.
Good Lord.
What have you done? Why would you even bring that up?
That hurt. That hurt my feelings.
Like,
Right
you
in
can
the
replay
jejunum.
that Darren Smith interview with AJ Preller
Throw up.
today. You could replay the entire interview and nothing has changed. And so what I'm saying is, when everyone's talking about firing Bob Melvin and restarting on things, you're pointing at the wrong person.
Okay, listen, I do agree with that. I think Bob Melvin most likely will be scapegoated unless the Padres get to the postseason and do something special. And Bob Melvin isn't the problem. That's where we'll leave it for now. We'll be joined by Kevin Acee in just about 15 minutes. He's our Padres insider. He's our best friend, and he said some really nasty things about me yesterday.
Are we doing that whole interview in Western accents?
I think we better.
All right.
And we're going to talk to Kevin 3 ticks past dawn.
I thought that was a really nice text. And
Will-
he just, whatever.
Will he be okay with us doing the Western accent the whole time?
Probably not.
No,
But does he
Kevin,
have a choice?
he's not really okay with anything. Like that's his problem, and I'm going to talk to him about all of his problems coming up in about 20 minutes. But first, we're going to do a segment we like to call NFL One-Liners, where Ben reads us an NFL question, and we have a short time to explain our thoughts, our feelings, our answers to these questions. Ben, if you will, because the Padres are depressing everybody, a little bit of an NFL palate cleanse.
Well, I just texted Kevin, and his notifications are silenced. Take that for what you will. But
Good
the first
sign.
question in NFL One-Liners, Bryce Young, Anthony Richardson, CJ Stroud. Long-term view, which first-round quarterback pans out the best?
All right, I will go first here, and I will say long-term view, I think it's going to be Bryce Young. I think Carolina has a better head start than both the Colts and the Houston Texans in terms of their offensive line, which, by the way, got demolished by the New York Jets during their joint practice.
Yeah.
We'll set that aside for a moment. That's a really talented group up front, but they need to gel in order for Bryce Young to survive this season. But I think it'll be Bryce Young because I trust the culture that Frank Reich can build with the team. Even in year one, we saw it with the Indianapolis Colts when he took that head coaching job. So I have a lot of belief in the culture and the system and the offensive weapons that they've surrounded Bryce Young with. Short-term view, I think it's going to be Anthony Richardson. I think he's going to have the better rookie year, but Bryce Young over the long span of it.
You know what? I was trying to figure out a way I could spin it and say something a little different than you, but I feel exactly the same way. I think Bryce Young has showed a lot of poise in the small time we've got to see him out here in preseason. I think Richardson, with his quote of he was really surprised, it does make you have a little bit of pause and go, well, wait, if you're not confident in yourself, how are you going to be confident on the field? CJ Stroud, I got a bad feeling that he is just going to get rocked with that line, and it's going to be a shaky start for him, which will be a shaky career. I mean, you get gun shy.
Bryce Young is the better thrower of the football. Anthony Richardson is the more athletic of the two. Anthony Richardson is 6'4", 244 pounds. Bryce Young is 5'10", 204 pounds. Anthony Richardson all day long. Tua Tagovailoa last year was an example of why being 5'10", 200 pounds isn't a good thing for the quarterback position, especially with that offensive line, which I know it has talented names in Carolina, but we saw the first preseason game, Bryce Young get hit a ton, and we've heard reports out of the joint practice with the Jets that he's getting hit more.
So I will say this, though. Russell Wilson, 5'11", Super Bowl champion, awesome quarterback until he got to Denver. Drew Brees, only 6 feet tall. Like, there have been examples of short, small stature quarterbacks who have been excellent at the NFL level. So I don't know if I 100% agree with like using Tua as the the one marker for the decision making.
The reason I would do Tua is because they both went to the same college. They had similar college careers. Tua, his first couple years in the league, has gotten hit a lot and struggled to stay healthy.
Doug Flutie, 5'10", Michael Vick, only 6 feet tall.
Different because those guys didn't play behind the best offensive line in the world in college and got lazy with their footwork. Those guys were running for their life the whole time.
Whoa, you're making stuff up. You're making stuff up. Bryce Young got lazy with his footwork.
I'm not saying lazy with his footwork. I'm saying he was overly protected in college where he never had to worry about anything. He gets to the NFL, and we might see what happened to Tua.
What's question number 2?
What will we see first? A regular season Josh Jacobs touchdown or a regular season Jonathan Taylor touchdown?
Travis, why don't you go first?
I think it'll be Josh Jacobs. I think someone, hopefully his agent, says, sign the deal, make it happen, and he'll get out there. Josh Jacobs is 100% right now. Jonathan Taylor still has some work to do, and I think that they're going to keep him on the sideline a bit, and I just don't feel like that Colts offense is going to be real strong where he'll have a lot of opportunities to score.
I think it's going to be Jonathan Taylor. And it's because you have other playmakers around the Raiders offense, right? Devontae Adams. Look, there's a lot more mouths to feed in Raiderland than there is in Indy. So I'm going to say Josh Jacobs. I think they both return for week 1 starts. I don't think either of them are going to get what they want. So I think you'll see Josh Jacobs signed his tender for his franchise tag. You'll see Jonathan Taylor hang up the fight, and he'll just play on his current contract, or maybe the Colts will renegotiate with him. But, yeah, I'll say Taylor scores first.
I just think it's more likely we see Josh Jacobs before we see Jonathan Taylor. I think he's a little more dug in than Josh Jacobs in. I don't know, though. I'm going to say Josh Jacobs. All right,
okay.
Who do you side with, the Tui family or Michael Orr?
Ooh, this is interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so Michael Orr he's saying that the Tui family lied to him, and that he is still under a conservatorship from when he was a child, saying that the Tui family, instead of adopting him, signed him to a conservatorship. The Tui family is not denying that, but they are now alleging that Michael Orr has shaken them down for $15 million in blackmail attempts, not just one, but multiple. And they're furious, and they are completely shocked by the claims that Michael Orr is making. All right, this is what I'm going to say. Right now, I think I side with Michael Orr because the Tui family somehow have hundreds of millions of dollars. Now, maybe they were amazing business people and they invested in fast food franchises before the Blind Side movie came out.
Well, and we do know they were very successful before they met Michael Orr.
It's very possible that that's true. Or they made a lot of money off of the Blind Side movie and the books and the speaking engagements, and Michael Orr has a great point. So right now, I'm going to side with Michael Orr.
Yeah, I mean, that's where I would have to go as well, mostly because the lie in this whole thing was the adoption. And they're not disputing that. That is factual. They never adopted him. That whole movie, I mean, wasn't based on an adoption, but it kind of was. And now here we are of, oh, well, no, we just gave him some paperwork to sign, and it was just the conservatorship. Whether or not he knew that is still in question.
Here's why I would be fully on Team Michael Orr. If it comes out how much money the Tui family has given their 2 biological children, if that number does not equal what they've given to Michael Orr over his lifetime, then it's BS. Because if you have made this public image of bringing him in as your son to the family, whether the paperwork is there or not, and you treat him differently than your 2 biological children, then I think it's messed up.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know. It's crazy. It is absolutely crazy, that story. I'm really curious to hear where it goes from there. What's next, Ben?
Ravens will start accepting Lamar Jackson's input on offensive play calling. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? There was also a report yesterday that he actually takes plays that he sees on social media from different high school or college things and adds them into the Ravens playbook.
Good.
Yeah, which, by the way, is common. You'll see this from a lot of quarterbacks, a lot of offensive coordinators. You'll hear from Andy Reid sometimes, like some of the plays that he runs, especially down near the goal line, he'll see them in like Division II college football games, and he'll use them at the professional level. So this is actually something that happens a lot in the NFL, and I think it's creative. I think it's a good thing Todd Monken is his offensive coordinator right now. But what this suggests, by the way, guys, is Greg Roman, when he was offensive coordinator, he wasn't accepting any input from Lamar Jackson.
Mm-hmm.
It means that before Todd Monken got there, Lamar was just running the plays as they were called. So he didn't have responsibility for poor play design or bad concepts. This upcoming season, since he's making such a profound statement about how he's helping out this offense in terms of play calling, with that comes the responsibility. If the offense struggles, he's going to carry some of the blame. So it's a double-edged sword what he's doing right now. I think it's a bad thing ultimately.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's a bad thing. I think that the good part of it is it would help Lamar Jackson, I think, feel a little bit more ownership of what was going on out there on the field. And I think that would elevate his play. However, I think it's hard, man. I think it's hard to be the guy driving and also the guy drawing it up. I think it'd be better if somebody else just did it on the sideline, show us what works. And yeah, you want to pull plays off social media. That's great. Maybe you take it, maybe you tweak it, maybe you make it your own. But it feels a little bit like, hey, this worked in Madden and this should work out here. So ultimately, I agree. I think it's a bad idea.
Who out of the two of them, Brady and Rivers, had more influence on the playbook?
I would say it was very equivalent. Both of those guys were like coaches. Like legitimately, I felt like both of those guys, Brady and Rivers, when I had gotten there year 10 with Brady, year 13, I think Rivers was at during his career when I got to the Chargers. Both of them were teaching a lot of the coaches how to read defenses, how certain routes worked against certain defenses. So, both of them had a huge input on what the game plan looked like come Sunday, Monday, or Thursday.
I mean, I guess I didn't know how much impact quarterbacks actually have on that kind of stuff. I'm curious what like Patrick Mahomes has modern day.
Oh, a ton.
I would imagine a ton. That a lot of it's him, Andy Reid, and I'm blanking on their OC right now after Bieniemy left. But if that's the case, then yeah, Lamar Jackson should have his fingerprints all over the playbook because he's the guy.
Yeah, what they do a lot of times, well, it depends. I believe it's Matt Nagy, by the way, came back.
I think you're right.
What happens a lot of times is like an offensive coordinator will be like, hey, it's almost like a menu. Like you want to pare down certain things. Are you comfortable throwing this route against this defense? What do you see? What do you like? And then it's like more cumulative or collaborative is the word I'm looking for.
All right, last one before the ace man.
Yeah.
Which NFL quarterback will be the biggest surprise this year?
I think the biggest surprise will be, I think Derek Carr with the Saints. I think
that's a good one.
I think Derek Carr is going to have an outstanding year. He's going to have a defense who's going to help him out in a big way. If Michael Thomas can play like Michael Thomas, and if Alvin Kamara is good after his suspension, the Saints, look out, man, because that's a very weak NFC South.
Yeah, that's a good call. I think Richardson will be a surprise. I do think that, well, if we call it a surprise, but I think he'll have a great year. On the flip side of that, I feel like the wheels are going to come off in Seattle, and the surprise will be Geno Smith tanks.
I think I agree with that last one. I'm going to make a really bold prediction right now.
Go for it.
Kirk Cousins MVP season.
Wow. What? Yeah, that is bold.
I choked a little bit.
So they get rid of Dalvin Cook.
I'm telling you, year 2 with KOC, year 2 with Kevin O'Connell. If you watch that Netflix series, Kirk Cousins comes off very favorably. And I do think Kirk Cousins MVP year.
Okay.
Russell Wilson's coming back. He's fixed.
That's he just had to sneak that one in. I will say this: the NFC North is a lot weaker.
He has the best wide receiver in all of football, and it's not really debatable at this point. Kirk Cousins MVP.
Yeah, the quarterbacks. When you look around, the Bears have Justin Fields.
I might
Jordan
throw 20
Love.
on that because I feel like I'd get pretty good odds.
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay. All right. Okay. That was good. That was a good palate cleanser. Back into the fray we go, talking Padres with our Padres insider, Kevin Acey on the other side, our best friend. And I've got a bone to pick with Kevin if he answers his phone. That's next.
This update is presented by Staples Stores. Padres looked like a new team last night. They smashed the Orioles 10-3. They get their first Grand Slam of the year. Gary Sanchez hit it, and they gain a game in the playoff race. Now 5.5 out, 42 left in the season. NOS yesterday, Rockies fall to the D-backs 8-5. Giants beat the Rays 7-0. Dodgers beat the Brewers 6-2. And in the NFL, jobs have been won. The Carolina Panthers named Bryce Young their Week 1 starter at quarterback. Indianapolis Colts have named Anthony Richardson theirs. Tomorrow night starts Week 2 of the NFL preseason. Cleveland Browns taking on the Philadelphia Eagles. Staples has great prices on all the back-to-school essentials. Right now, you save even more with $20 back in rewards on your in-store purchase of $50 or more. Rewards members only. Ends 8/19. Redeemable in-store only. School on, save on at Staples.
Our iHeartRadio Music Festival is back. It's happening September 22nd and 23rd at T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas. 2 nights, 1 stage, and live performances by The Foo, Fall Out Boy, Kelly Clarkson, and a whole lot more. And while the world is listening on iHeartRadio, you could be there with 3 chances every weekday for you to win your trip for 2 plus $1,000 spending cash. Just keep listening to win. Also, you want to keep listening because we still have Pantera tickets. We still have Darius Rucker tickets. Pantera at the North Island Credit Union Amphitheater on August 26th. And Darius Rucker at Gallagher Square, August 25th. Go to Ticketmaster.com for more info, or just keep listening for your chance to win. I think I checked all the boxes there, Rich.
I think you did. I absolutely do think you did. So those Pantera tickets and Darius Rucker tickets coming up next. But right now, it's Wednesday, so you know what that means.
Kevin AC on San Diego Sports 760. Brought to you by Hamul Casino. Hamul Casino, fun above all else. Quidel Ortho, changing lives one test at a time.
I never want to invade privacies. I never want to be somebody who steps over a line, but I feel like a line was crossed, so I will in turn cross a line as well, as we welcome in Kevin AC, our best friend, Padres insider. Ben sends out a text message, and he shares a screenshot yesterday. And he sends it to Kevin AC, and it says, "Howdy, partner. Are you fixing to come in ye old AM radio station tomorrow morning around 3.5 hours past dawn break? We're sure love to see you." And then Kevin responds, not in kind, but in short, "Yeah, sure, whatever."
With 3 separate periods.
Yeah.
So then Ben responds with, "Talk to you then, pal." Then Kevin responds to that, "I'm sorry, I thought you were rich. That guy really gets on my nerves.
Wow.
Talk to you at 8:30.
Wow.
Okay, so listen, I know for a fact that I get on a lot of people's nerves. Just ask my wife. But I had no idea you felt this way about me. So what have I done, Kevin, and how can I fix this? Because you are my and the rest of the show's best friend collectively."
Fletch, you're dead to me. You're
Wow.
dead to me.
Wow.
Wait,
Okay, so
what?
2 relationships ruined.
You
One,
weren't supposed to share the
Hey,
text.
Travis, what are we doing later?
Yeah,
Let's
you know
go-
what? Hey, you want to go to the Remy?
Yeah, I was gonna say let's go to the Remy.
okay, all right. Wait a second. Wait,
All
okay.
right.
Wait.
Whoa.
Oh, okay.
Let's
So,
go.
no.
My best friend.
Wait, no. Okay, so, I understand why you're mad at Ben. Ben, how could you share that with me?
That's what we do every week.
All right, but I'm horrified because I am trying to win points to curry favor and get back in Kevin Acey's good graces, because I still have no idea why Kevin Acey is mad at me.
I'm not. I was. You know what? You know how it is. You dig yourself a hole and then you try to throw someone else under the bus. It was a bad move on my part. I'm going to ask your forgiveness.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. I look. Apology accepted.
Okay.
I want to put
This
this.
will make us stronger.
I
It really
yeah.
will.
I was gonna say I want to put this past us. I want to move on to a brighter future where we can all go sit down at a Western style modern steakhouse
Right.
and have some tuna tostadas together. That's all we want.
Right. Now,
The amount of times I've said that, I would like to just get together at a Western style modern steakhouse.
Right. I know.
Flows off the tongue, and I say it all the time.
Yeah. Us too. And we were planning on doing this Padres interview in a Western accent, and we're not sure if you're willing to do that now. So, Kevin, if I were going to ask you, all right, feller, at high noon tomorrow, if the Padres lose, Is Bob Melvin still on the job? Now, how would you respond to that?
Yes.
Okay.
That answers a lot of questions. I see how efficient I am.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I didn't hear a Western accent though
Yeah,
when you answered it.
Oh,
Kevin.
you guys don't get it? Oh, I'm not. Yeah.
What?
I don't know what to tell you.
Oh,
I mean,
well,
I'm doing it. Maybe I don't know what's getting lost in the translation.
His Western accent sounds a lot like his normal accent.
Maybe-
I just want to point that out to everybody listening.
Yeah. But check this out, Kevin. What if we went, woo-wee! We set the line over here at 2. 2 runs today is all the line is. So will the Padres score more or less than 2 runs tonight? Because yesterday, man, oh man, they scored 10 of them.
What I don't understand is where did this come from? But I am going to give you a little backstory. I am terrible at accents. I'm scarred. Do you remember? I don't know that kids have to do this anymore. Like, I think schools changed. Do you remember like electives? You had to do electives, right?
Yeah.
So I had to take drama, right?
Mhm.
Like my freshman year of high school. And you got to do accents. And I was terrible. And I'm still scarred from like not only the kids like laughing at my terrible accent, but like the teachers scorn. Like, are you an idiot? That kind of thing that they could say in the 80s to children. So I don't do accents, but I need to understand what happened to you guys collectively.
Several of us were dropped early in our childhood. But I don't know if that, I don't know. This was born of boredom. Yesterday, Ben just decided to text you in a Western fashion.
Mm-hmm.
And so we're just running with it, or I should say, riding with it, partner.
Yeah.
I thought it was totally normal. Sorry, Kev. I thought you came to expect that of us.
Yeah, well, I have, but now it's the way you guys have upped it is what impresses me.
Well, it's just on
I
Wednesdays. Like, I like to bring a little light to your life,
Ben,
and I thought that you would like to do the
in
same
a
thing.
Western accent.
Oh, sure, partner. Hey, Kevin, this does make this next question a lot more fun. Because does AJ Preller deserve to have a job next season? Now, I can see you saying that AJ Preller will have a job with the San Diego Padres, but does he deserve to have that job, or does he deserve to be put in the guillotine?
The guillotine? I'm not sure. I think you might be mixing up your eras.
That's the French Revolution, Ben.
Wait, what's the one where they put they throw tomatoes at him?
No, that's the
medieval times, man.
Yeah.
They were. I mean,
You would just say hang them at high noon.
String them up.
Yeah.
My goodness. Listen, if you're Peter Seidler and you are building something in your mind, you see all, behind the scenes and everything, and you're excited about the young pitching that you have coming up. You're excited about Ethan Salas. You know what the plan is to build around this core, and you don't want to start over ostensibly. I understand this. I do. I also see the other side that says, hey, look at what's happened here with this team that is, underachieving and, is made a playoffs in a short season, had a terrible year, terrible collapse, what Peter Seidler called an historic collapse. Well, I don't know that this one's going to be historic that we can quantify, but this is going to be, I think all of us consider it like historically underachieving. So, I can see the other side there. It's like, well, every other year you suck. You're talking about like excellence and best in class and consistency, and it's the decade of the Padres, and you're still being embarrassed by the Dodgers. I get that, I do. But I also understand very much that what they're trying to build, and that continuity is a big part of it. So there, that's my answer.
Well, I get the thought process, and this will not be
Ben.
Western. No, so I can articulate this point. The Dodgers have won the division every year since.
Fight the dark side.
You're welcome, Kev. I'll try to make this a little more palatable. Yeah. Since 2013, the Dodgers have won the division every single year outside of 2021. And the Padres are still 16 games back of the Dodgers here in 2023, which was supposed to be the best Padres roster ever constructed. That's what we were told.
Snoozer.
Like, I just don't understand how it's still justifiable.
Who cares?
You other guys can hear this. But he's got conviction about this. right?
mhm,
So,
mhm,
and he feels like that comes through much more in his whatever accent that he's got going on there. So, I love it. I respect it, man. I'm trying to help you out.
Thank you, Kev.
Yeah.
I love you too.
Remember what you said? No, because it wasn't an accent. It's not memorable. But yeah, you know what? What you're saying. That's what I was trying to convey is the other side. I absolutely understand that, and yeah, because of all the things that are going wrong, because that Bob Melvin could be the fall guy. Because just I get it that like but wait a minute, what about this other guy who built it all? Teams just churn through general managers, whatever plans, right? And what is their plan? And suddenly you're the Detroit Tigers. And so there is a certain amount of admiration, and I try to really understand what the Padres are doing. And yes, continuity, that the quest for continuity can lead to just being bad for a long time, but it also can lead to something special, and that's what they're trying to do. And so like that's my answer, like that I do, I guess it's my job, right, to like try to understand what they're doing and to convey it. And that's it. So I can justify some of the things, I can't the other things, but it's not my money and it's not my team, but that's what's happening there, is that they're trying to build something.
All right. Well, we're talking to Kevin Acee, our compadre and Padres insider here at San Diego Sports 760. Now, Kevin, when you look out at that yonder horizon, other than the players that are on these expiring deals, are there any other players that are on longer-term contracts that you could see being traded away to create that continuity that you were talking about earlier?
It's interesting. It's on my list of things that, because we've reached the point in the season here where it's like, okay, I'm covering the games, but how much longer are they going to be important? So, hey, what are my things that I really need to look into and let the fans know might be coming up or whatever? And this is one of them. And I haven't really gotten there. There are a lot of no trade clauses. There's a lot of guys that maybe other teams might not want, or the Padres would have to eat a lot of money.
But we know no trade clauses, they don't really matter as long as both sides agree to a trade.
Sure. And so that's why I'm saying that there's a lot of money that the Padres might have to eat if they were going to trade certain guys. And I'm only saying this because I get the emails about trade this guy or that guy. It's like, okay, who's taking that salary right now? And you want the Padres to eat, whatever $100 million. I don't know what to tell you. That's the thing. So I'll tell you this: the real challenge here is the challenge of having a bad team is, oh man, we got to find a lot more good players. Well, like this team has its quote unquote good players. Like it has its core, and look where it's at. So that's a real challenge for this team, is to build around that. Like, can we move some guys? Okay, we're keeping these guys. What are we going to do with them? And, do we think this was an anomaly? Xander Bogaerts, was that all wrist? Was that first year? Remember, Manny, as a matter of fact, Manny's having another subpar first year. His 2019 was not good. His 2023 isn't great. A lot of times a guy comes to a new organization like Xander Bogaerts has, and it takes a little while. Is it that? What can we expect out of Jake Cronenworth going forward? There's a lot of good questions there.
Kevin Acee, we're going to be out at Petco Park a week from today. So what do you say you give us your whereabouts when we head out to the stadium? We'll go rustle up some vittles.
How does that sound?
Whoa. Oh, by the way, Ed Rich, I know that we started off rough and that we're good now, but
says who?
Rich, your accent is so bad compared to Travis.
Now,
that's accurate.
Wait, whoa.
I'm going to be a flea-bitten, downright downtrodden, horse-wrecking.
You're like a cartoon character, and he is transporting me back in time to a place that was simpler yet violent.
Yeah.
And yeah.
If I had a pistol right now, Kevin, I'd shoot it right in the air.
I'll tell you right now, partner, if I had a pistol, I would try to fire it, but someone might stick their finger in the barrel and blow it to smithereens.
That was a great chat, Kev.
Hey, Kev,
Yeah.
Good.
want to know that we appreciate you around these parts.
But I need you to understand you started this.
And we
I
love
didn't
you.
start anything. All I said was things like, he's our best friend.
Yeah.
And he's a guy who I like a lot.
All I've ever
Right.
wanted is for Kevin to end one of these interviews with "I love you guys."
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. We love you, Kevin.
Good. Think about how good that's going to feel when it happens.
Wow. So I guess
Is
today's
today
on-
the day?
I think about how good that's going to feel when that happens. I mean, that's
Well-
going to be a big day for all of us.
Adios, amigo.
Unbelievable.
Kevin AC on San Diego Sports 760 is brought to you by Hamul Casino. With thousands of slots, table games, and a sports bar voted San Diego's best, Hamul Casino is always a fan favorite. Quidel Ortho is proud to be the official diagnostics partner of the San Diego Padres. Quidel Ortho has been making a difference every day, changing lives one test at a time.
By the way, anybody who watches us on YouTube, streams us live as we do every single day now, Big Rich, TD, and Fletch on YouTube, you can see the scroll when we have Kevin Acey on. It literally says, instead of Padres Insider or Union Tribune, his credentialing is our best friend Kevin Acey.
And he's a real jerk.
Dude, he's mean to you. He's mean to me. He's mean
loves
to
Travis.
He's even mean to Travis sometimes. He literally said while Travis was asking his first question, "This is really stupid."
You did say that, and that made me want to go find the roughest, coarsest rope in our rope inventory.
By the way, it's a stockade, not a guillotine.
Yeah,
Oh, stuck. Yeah, but was that still? I don't know if that was Western times.
Yeah, they would put someone in a stockade. You throw tomatoes at him.
Yeah.
They did.
They
In, like the 1800s.
It's in the show Justified, which was the
Well, it's factual.
yeah, it's Timothy Oliphant.
Yeah.
They would take dude, that was like historical reference. I'm
Or no,
pretty
not
sure
just
that's
what was the one with Timothy Oliphant that was like old school?
I don't know where they're dragons.
Deadwood.
Oh,
Deadwood.
Great
Yeah.
show. They say so many bad words.
Oh yeah.
yeah.
They use a lot of really rich language. I
Which
think
is
that,
also historically accurate.
Listen, I don't really know what to say about Kevin other than the fact that he keeps us on our toes.
Mhm.
And speaking of toes, those are connected to your feet. And your feet should have some arch support because whether you know it or not, your arches are suffering. All right, so I was unaware of this. I went to a Good Feet store, and the result of which I walked out of there with Good Feet store arch supports that I now wear every single day. And I had back pain that has since gone away. I had knee pain that has improved tremendously. I had hip pain that has been eliminated. I haven't felt hip pain since I put these things on, but I've had foot pain and ankle pain that's been more intermittent. That's really melted away also. The Good Feet store arch supports can help you too. So if you're struggling with any of that joint pain like me or many others suffer with on a daily basis, get to a Good Feet store. They got 200 plus locations around the United States and overseas. They've been doing this for 30 plus years. And guess what? The arch supports are manufactured right here in San Diego. They've got a big manufacturing plant up in Carlsbad. They're employing a lot of the people around the county. So you're going to want to support local. Get to the Good Feet store today. And coming up next, we wrap up this show with some predictions for the Padres on this homestand. That's next. Big Rich, TD, and Fletch. What?
Call right now. Darius Rucker, 844-570-1360. Call number 5. You're going to go.
Hey, I'm Big Rich.
And I'm TD.
And I'm Fletch.
Thanks for listening to the show today. The Herd is next. See y'all tomorrow.
Whammy!